Moving ESPN 1025, the game streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Caroline Fenton is here today. Hello, Caroline.
Hello, how are we doing?
I'm doing well. Ian's here today. How are you, Ian?
What up, what up?
So I have a bone to pick with both of you.
What? What now?
A serious bone with both of you.
A trivia bone to pick?
I do have a trivia bone to pick. Today we had an all-staff meeting at work. It was a mandatory all-staff meeting where I think we did a lot of like mandatory all-staff things that most people in their jobs have to do. So we agreed to, not break the law, not break the FCC rules, not break the FTC rules.
We try our best.
Not sexually harass anybody. Like all the things that I think literally everybody has to go through in their job. And then we had like a trivia competition. And I'm just going to say this. It was really
Don't you dare.
odd.
Don't you dare.
How the man in charge was closest to the team table that represented both Caroline and Ian. My team table was next to it. And early on, it was a ring the bell. Whoever rings the bell first goes. Problem is if three people ring the bell at one time, how are you going to know who rang it first? I mean, my dad goes to the Predators, and sometimes he can't even see the puck go in the back of the net. So now we're talking about, like, ringing the bell and, like, okay, which one rang here, there, what? And so early on, I think I scored like 3 correct answers in a row. It was first to 10. I think I scored like 3 correct answers in a row.
That seems generous.
But the complainers,
That does seem generous.
which I forget what their team name was, but it might as well have been the complainers.
We were the Barracudas.
Barracudas.
Because they complained so much that we had to start the game over. And their team, by the way, sucked. And Robbie Stanley was on it too.
Okay, nope, no.
You guys finished with what, 30 points?
We were on a roll.
Like 20
and then
points?
you, Jared Stillman, had to just complain and whine about the fact that I got the answer right before you did.
No, you did not.
Yes, I did.
It doesn't. First of all, it doesn't matter if you got.
I rang the bell.
You rang the bell
I rang
first.
the bell first. I got the answer right.
Nobody
it
thinks you
was
rang the bell
about
first.
bring it on. If anybody who listens to this show would think, who would know more about a movie about cheerleading, Caroline or Jared? I would guarantee you everyone would say Caroline. So
You want to bet on this? I'll bring it on.
100% I do.
You wanna bring it on?
I want to bring it on right now.
Are you sure?
100%.
Okay. We do need to talk about the Titans, and we will.
Well,
and we
it's
do
not
need to
important right
talk
now.
about the World Series.
It's not important right
Ian,
now.
I want you to go to imdb.com right now, and I want you to pull up Bring It On, and I want you to pull up the trivia section. I'm sure there's a trivia section. I haven't
sure.
seen it. I have not seen the trivia section. I want you to pull up the trivia section to Bring It On, because Caroline was like 4 when this movie came out.
That doesn't mean I haven't seen it.
I was in my rom-com prime when this movie came out.
This is not a rom-com. This is a cheerleading movie. This is not a democracy. It's a what?
Cheerocracy.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So I am making an executive decision here of the radio program. If you are looking for us to talk about the Titans and all of the talk that the Titans did on Sunday about not worrying about beating the Chiefs and focusing forward and how there's a lot of Titan fans out there, my dad included, who thinks they're going to lose to the Colts. If you're looking for that, we will literally do that in 5 minutes. But first,
We have some business to tend to.
I must bring it on. And by the way, I would like you to turn your computer to me so that I know that you are not cheating.
I'm just pulling up my webcam.
Okay, well then the people are going to get to see my, the entire studio.
I was just pulling up the text line.
Okay, all right. Okay.
I was pulling up the text line.
Okay, all right. So now, Ian, do you have that trivia pulled up?
I do, but it doesn't ask me trivia questions. It just tells you, like, fun facts.
We probably know those fun facts.
No, those are like,
Or like
by the way,
actor
so-and-so
names.
was also in such and such with so-and-so.
All the actors who were playing cheerleaders had to go to what they ended up calling a cheerleader boot camp. Like, that's not really a trivia question for
no,
me.
yeah.
Not really, not for Bring It On. No, it's not.
Well, we can just bring it on trivia each other. Bring it on off.
Okay.
If you
What
drop
was
the
their
spirits,
main high school name? The name of the main high
Rancho
school?
Carne.
Rancho
Carne Toros.
Toros. And they battled with the Clovers.
Yeah. Go
East
Clovers. Go Clovers. If you drop the spirit stick, where do you go?
Hades.
Yep, that's true.
Okay, what was the name? Okay, this is great.
Okay.
What was the name of the guy that they hired after they got caught jacking all their cheers?
This guy.
That's not
With
his name.
His spirit fingers.
And
his
he did have the spirit fingers.
Oh, what is his name? It's something like so ridiculous.
Eh.
Oh, I don't know. What is his name?
Sparky Pulaski.
Sparky Pulaski. Yes,
Ding,
you're
ding,
so
ding.
right.
Bring it on,
It is-
champion.
No.
Here.
No.
Thank you.
Not after just
Thank
one
you.
question. No way.
Okay, then come up with another one. And let's see if I can nail this, and I'll, in my head, come up with another one, too. I just want to tell the people out there. I'm giving you time to think of a question. Just telling, like, the people out there today that this inter-office trivia questioning, which anytime they ask, like, a rock question or something, I was totally out.
Yeah,
like,
the
when they
rock
ask, like,
questions.
Marilyn Manson questions, like, I have no clue.
Or this thing from 1950, this one person.
The Buddy Holly thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know anything from 1950.
So, like those we had no, like, my table didn't have a chance, her table didn't really have much of a chance. Joe, surprisingly, Joe Retro got some answers right.
This was right in his his era wheelhouse.
There were a lot of basketball questions, too, that
80s,
Joe just
90s.
slammed dunk.
It was a 2000 Trivial Pursuit, so it was right in that kind of wheelhouse for him.
It was crazy because when they said 80s and 90s, I was like, oh my God. This is like the one era that Caroline's probably not going to have any idea about, and Floyd probably wouldn't have had any idea about.
Yep.
Like, he wouldn't have known any of those to anything because he, football. Unless they asked football questions. There was one that I froze up on where they asked who the Converse shoes were named. I think Ian got that.
Ian got it.
The Chuck
Yeah.
Taylors.
But it was
And I knew
disqualified because of your whining.
Oh, no. Y'all were the complainers.
Absolutely not.
No.
I rang the bell first. I said cheerleading first.
So then what got me, I froze up on that question because all I could think about was this old Converse weapon commercial where it had like all these NBA
Converse
players
weapon. That's the shoe.
that allows Magic do what he was born to do. And I just had this like stuck in my head. And I got to tell you, being the bell ringing guy is like very, very stressful.
It's very
I could
overwhelming.
see my hand like shaking. And here's the other thing too. Like they had to say, like our office people, they had to say like a couple times, like, hey guys, it's just a game. Like it was not just a game to me today.
I could tell.
Like it was not a game.
I could very much so
And there
tell.
was
I wanted to win.
You were sweating a little
there
bit.
were minus points for wrong answers. So if you
That-
got the
that
wrong,
was another thing.
that
Oh my God,
got a little
That was
tricky.
a fun caveat.
Oh, my, so then there was one where, like, you could bring it beforehand, like Jeopardy, and then try to answer the question. But if you get it wrong, you lose points. And
You got burned by that.
I got burned on this. So
You got
they
too
asked-
excited?
They said, former Minnesota governor Jesse Ventura, bang. And I go, wrestling. And they were like, and they looked at me like, and
What
then
was
I
his
just go,
nickname?
and then I just go, the body, before they even asked. Once they looked at me like that, I knew that they were looking for the nickname and not the sport. And I just go, the body. And I think they wanted to give it to me. But everybody else, because, they hate us because they ain't us. Everybody else, like, no, that was his first answer. We got Doc.
Well, you got your first answer. That's how the game goes. Sorry.
No, that one I screwed up. But the idea, the two ideas that they had rang the bell before I did.
I rang the bell first, and I said cheerleading first.
We were not the judges on that. It was an impartial judge who decided. Full disclosure.
He took all the points off the board because he knew he was wrong. It was like when the referees come together after they call something, and then they come out and they go, there was no foul on the play for intentional grounding. 73 was in the area. That's what that was like today in the office.
Well, for example, the team that's going to be playing the World Series tonight, they do an awful lot of cheating. That's kind of how I felt like what was going on at your table against us.
How did we cheat?
Because you claimed that you hit the bell first. I hit the bell first.
That's not cheating. That is reporting what happened.
Nope. You were reporting false truths.
No. So, I felt like they needed the nickname the Complainers because all they did was complain.
Cheater, pumpkin eaters. We're the Houston Astros.
I'm going to give Ian credit because he didn't do very much complaining. In fact, outside of just giving the right answer.
And I think I got the right answer is the only one for the team, to be honest. I had a
I
few
know you
answers.
got a couple.
Yes.
Ian did get the most right answers. I did get Lara Croft.
Oh, fair.
I
You did.
pat
Yep.
myself on the
Oh,
back
yeah.
for that
was
one.
That was another ridiculous
no,
one where I
it
rang
was
the bell
not.
before you guys did.
No.
But what was funny about it, of all the things, what was funny was Ian got all these right answers, and he would hit the bell kind of light, and then
someone else who was louder, a.k.a. you.
Well, no, and then Ian would give the answer, and then it'd be like it was like a silent assassin shot. Like, oh my God, he got it right. Ian, I think probably nailed 3 or 4.
Yeah, Ian got a lot of them. Got the Chuck Taylor one.
I mean, he didn't get as many as I did.
Soap on a rope. I got that one.
Soap on a rope.
Dude,
That
how
was
did you
another
get
one.
that? I've never
heard of soap on a rope. There is a generational gap, between some of these with the timing.
I know, but you're 3 years older than me. Maybe not even.
Maybe a little bit more. I think I'm a little bit more. Yeah, 6 years, I think.
So anywho.
Soap on a rope. What is the point of that?
So anywho, I just want everybody out there to know that Caroline Fenton cheats at team trivia. That's all I want everyone to know.
How was I cheating? How was I cheating?
Did you come up with your Bring It On question for me?
Did I?
Yeah.
Missy is the blank, so take a big blank.
Missy is the poo, so take a big whiff.
Dang it, you're right. That's a good one. You're right. All right, bring it back to me.
Thank you.
Bring it back to me. Another question from you.
I didn't have time to think. Okay. What is the move that they ask Elijah Dushku to do when she wants to join the team?
Double back handspring, wait, who? What's her name?
It's Elijah Dushku, right? The
actress?
Yeah.
Missy? Your school has no gymnastics team. This is a last resort. Double back handspring, full back tuck, back handspring.
You might be right. I don't know.
It's something like that.
I was trying to make it really difficult because I knew that you wouldn't be able to get that one. All right, so we have brought it on today. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. There's really nothing for you to react to, and I hate doing that, by the way. I hate, wasting that. But
we had to.
Yeah, because Caroline cheated it.
I did not cheat.
You're right. You did not cheat. You complained.
And you cheated.
You complained.
You are a cheater.
How did I cheat?
You were a cheater, pumpkin eater.
How did I cheat?
Because you tried to claim that you rang the bell first.
And this was the conversation literally outside in front of everybody during the trivia, so all the listeners know.
Hey, don't invite me to the party if you – it's like Snoop Dogg said when he performed at Kansas. And Kansas said, we thought we were getting the PG-13 version of Snoop Dogg's performance. And Snoop Dogg went on Howard Stern the next day and was like, yeah, I think they're just saying that to save face. Like, when you pay for Snoop Dogg, you're going to get
Snoop
Dogg.
You're going to get.
So, if you're going to play a game with me involved, I'm going to get all worked up about it. That's just how it is. I just want the audience to know this. I absolutely, positively hate radio hosts who waste time by talking about things that the audience probably doesn't care about. So, full disclosure, what I just did is a complete pet peeve of mine. Coming up next, there is something about the Titans that I want to get to, which is, I think, the question on everybody's mind going into this Colts game, because it is a big game. We will do that next. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. By the way, Corey Curtis has sent me a link to 204 Bring It On trivia questions.
We might need to address that with Corey on Friday.
That may be fun. 615-737-1025, Stillman and Company. It's ESPN 1025, The Game, delivered by TriStar Moving and streaming on the Game Nashville app.
Can he get in? He will! What a run! And a touchdown for Derrick Henry!
King Henry and the Titans are surging into a big Week 8 showdown at Indianapolis.
I challenge all, bro. Win every day, not just every game.
And we've got you covered all week long.
Trying to get the offense up to championship level.
All of this boils right into what the Titans want to do.
This is Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Get a great deal on the versatile, powerful Kubota M-Series tractors and hay tools. It's everything you need to mow, rake, bale, lift, and more. And right now, you can write it off a lot and write it off your taxes. Right now, get 0 down and 0% APR for 60 months, plus save up to $3,000. Now through December 31st. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Come see why Coleman Tractor Company is one of the largest Kubota dealers in Middle Tennessee, Paris, Clarksville, Nashville, and their new location in White House.
Hey, Darren McFarland here, and let me tell you about my friends at Curation CBD. If you're like me and have aches and pains all over your body and you've been searching for a solution, well, I've got it. It's Curation CBD. Curation means healing, and that right there says it all. Curation is locally and organically sourced CBD products right here from Middle Tennessee. From seed to final sell, Curation is passionate about providing quality products for everyday use for athletes and for pets too. Order yours now at CurationCompany.com. Curation CBD, curated for life.
Celebrate Thanksgiving with Social Furniture and save up to 70% off all furniture. They have sofas, sectionals with chase lounge, and recliners that are all push-button electric and wall away. They have all colors to choose from for your comfort watching any hockey game. All of them are plus leather, microfiber, and Chanel's. They have same-day delivery with no down payments and no interest. Forget the big box store. Support local. Support social. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
Hey, it's Jared for TriStar Moving. If you're looking to move, you need to give my friends at TriStar Moving a call. At TriStar Moving, you'll get 5-star service throughout the entire process. Everything will be taken care of, from covering your floors, banisters, railings, front door thresholds, furniture, TVs, and more. They took great care of my move and made it as stress-free as possible. If you're looking to move, give TriStar Moving a call, 615-640-1219, or visit them at nashvillemoving.org/radio and get 5% off your entire move. TriStar Moving, my official movers.
Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey is the official whiskey of the NFL pregame broadcast on ESPN 102.5 The Game. Screwball is the original and most awarded peanut butter whiskey in the world. Made with real whiskey, peanuts, and peanut butter, Screwball is all natural flavor to be enjoyed as a straight shot, in an espresso martini, peanut butter old fashioned, or a PB&J shot with a berry liqueur. Check out screwballwhiskey.com/recipes for more. Be sure and ask for Screwball by name at your favorite watering hole in Nashville.
Enjoy responsibly. 2021 Screwball Spirits LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Yo, this is Just For Me City Vintage, here to provide you with all your vintage apparel and shoe needs. We partner with 102.5 The Game to provide you all an exclusive discount today. Coming to our shop today, located in East Nashville at 2503 Gallatin Avenue, and say The Game at checkout and get 10% off your entire order. If you're unable to make it in, we got some for you as well. All of our products in store are also available on our website at musiccityvtg.com. Just use promo code GAME at checkout and get 10% off your order.
The 2021 Major League Soccer season isn't over yet, Nashville. Are you in? There's just one regular season home match remaining as we make our final push for a playoff spot. Don't miss the action on Sunday, November 7th at 2:30 p.m. against New York Red Bulls at Nissan Stadium. Come be a part of the most unique sports experience in Nashville. Tickets are on sale now from just $22 at NashvilleSC.com. Everyone in.
How'd you all like that?
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Stillman and Company on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
Our phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Fred in Ashland City texts into the text line and says, the old office team building games that have been driving teams apart since the beginning of time.
That's so true.
There probably is a little truth to that.
How many times we've gotten into it on this show, but I don't think we've ever been as heated as we were about Bring It On trivia.
Yeah. It was
thanks to team building.
Disappointing. So, the Titans play the Colts. They had their press conferences today. I'll be honest with the audience. I'm not exactly sure what the Titans said because we were too busy arguing about Bring It On in the office team building when they had their press conferences today. So I don't know what the talk has been like for the Titans, but I can assume. And my assumption is that the Titans have spent a lot of time talking about, hey, looking forward, thinking about the Colts, no this, that, or another, no worrying about beating the Bills or beating the Chiefs, but Colts, 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 Colts. In fact, after the game on Sunday, they kept talking about, hey, they don't give out Lombardi trophies. Hey, we didn't win the Super Bowl today. Hey, we're not in it, whatever. And I told you all that in my head, and I'm not speaking for him because obviously I don't know what he would have said, and he's obviously not with us anymore, but I did wonder after Sunday what Floyd would have said on Monday, knowing that everything was so positive, that the fans would be so pumped up that even me would be like, oh, my God, Floyd, you got to give it to him. And I think he probably would have said something like, it doesn't matter if you don't beat the Colts. Colts, Colts, Colts. I've seen the Titans a lot of times in my life. You get your hopes really high, only to sink them. I've seen that a lot with the Atlanta Braves, which is why even though they dominated in Game 1 last night, I am not feeling good about this World Series. But the Titans really do this, where they have spurts in seasons where you really get your hopes up, and then there's one thing or another that happens that just boom. I've told the story many times, but I remember exactly where I was in my office at my old house back when I thought I needed an office. I realized that you don't really need a home office unless you have kids. Then that's like, hey, kids, stay out of the home office.
Everywhere is your office.
But when you don't have kids or a wife, like, you know, you can do whatever you want to do wherever you want to do it. But I was in the office, and Adam Schefter tweeted out that morning, Marcus Mariota not going to play. And it was like, boom. Titans had won 4 or 5 in a row at that point, trying to make the playoffs, win, and you're in. Derrick Henry's got Mariota out. Boom. You know, the Titans just have a way of setting you up. They got up 17-7 in the AFC Championship game. And I I remember when they threw the touchdown pass to Dennis Kelly. We're in the press box at Arrowhead Stadium. There's not enough seats. So we find a seat in the press box for Floyd, and I think Chase had a seat somewhere in the press box. And I am standing at like Corey Curtis's like shoulder, overlooking kind of the press box. I mean, I almost felt bad for Corey, but good man. And they throw the touchdown to Dennis Kelly, and I look over at Floyd, and like my tongue's hanging out, like, oh my God, they're up 17-7. And I said at the time, I'm like, they need a stop. They got to get a stop. You get to 24, now we're talking. But I felt like they needed to get a stop. I couldn't get my hopes up. I said yesterday, I will maintain it this whole week. You beat the Indianapolis Colts, you win the AFC South on Sunday. You won't get a hat or a T-shirt, and there won't be an official X by your name when they show the AFC playoff picture. But Indianapolis does not have a chance of coming back on you. They've already lost to Baltimore. They've already lost to you the first time. They've already lost games in which they thought they could come out ahead. They thought that they could win and kind of keep pace. And they've just lost too many games. And barring a major injury or an epic collapse, I think they know the division is on the line this Sunday. And yet I think a lot of Titan fans who were very fired up on Sunday afternoon and Monday on this show, I think there's a lot of Titan fans who are very nervous about this Sunday's game in Indianapolis. I gave a pat on the back last week to Titan fans after the Monday Night Football game when they beat the Bills, and I didn't feel like Titan fans got too caught up in the fact that they beat Buffalo. I didn't feel like the callers to the show or the texters to the text line were firing off this sense of, we beat the Bills, we can beat anybody, pumping their chest. Because I think a lot of us knew, hey, it's a good win over the Bills, but here come the Chiefs, here come the Colts, here come the Rams. I have to give Titan fans credit for this week because I think there's a lot of Titan fans that are done with the win of the Chiefs. Don't care about what they're saying on national TV. Don't care about Mike Greenberg's AFC rankings that don't care about any of this. They are focused right now in the here and now about getting ready to play this Colts game because too many times in your lifetime, if you're a Titan fan, have you gotten your hopes up only to have them just completely squashed by Indianapolis, especially losing to Indianapolis teams that aren't better than you. Last year, Titans had the division in their hands probably. They played early November. They played the Colts. And they changed the punter, but that was kind of the only big deal. And the Titans went out there and played maybe one of their worst games of the season on Thursday Night Football, got beat by the Colts, and now the division was a dogfight that went down to the final day. 2 years ago, they played the Cleveland Browns, the winners of the offseason. Baker, Mayfield, Odell, Beckham, Jarvis, Landry. Titans embarrassed Cleveland week 1. It was a national game for the most part, so everybody saw the Titans beat down. Just the beat down of Cleveland. They lost to Jacoby Brissett and the Colts at home in the next game. Marcus Mariota spiked the ball on 3rd down. We've seen the Titans lose to the Colts in the past. I used to always joke about the Colts curse. Was that a real thing? Was that not a real thing? But I'll say this. I think the Titans mentally have their heads in the right place. Remember Ryan Tannehill on Sunday after they won the game against the Chiefs. Just kind of cautioned everybody about, hey, they're just 5-2. And I feel personally like they understand that. And so, while in the past I've seen the Titans go out there and get cocky or arrogant, I don't feel like we're going to see the Titans get cocky and arrogant this week. But I also understand why Titan fans are worried about the Colts.
Oh, 100% I understand why Titans fans feel uncomfortable about the Colts because it's something that the Titans always seem to do. And I think one of the bigger feats, beating the Bills and beating the Chiefs, those are two huge marks on the Titans' resume so far this season. And that is a huge confidence booster. But I think the biggest thing would be winning 3 games in a row. Because it seems like this team, whenever they zig, they zag. Whenever they're high, they get knocked right back down again. And whenever they're low, they beat a team like the Bills and they're right back on top. I think on every side of the ball, the Titans have the advantage and the better players. It just is a matter of which player shows up. Which Ryan Tannehill are we going to see? Are we going to see Ryan Tannehill that turns the ball over, that throws interceptions, or are we going to see a Ryan Tannehill that looks calm, cool, and collected in the pocket, and you can go straight to A.J. Brown, and A.J. Brown holds on to the ball? A.J. Brown doesn't drop balls. Or is the offensive line going to be able to open up holes for Derrick Henry to take advantage of? Because this team has every single tool in their toolkit to beat this Indianapolis Colts team. It just depends on which team shows up.
I have a note that I actually have in my safe downstairs at my home that it was a breakdown. It was something I wrote. I have, some random stationery around the house that just says, like from Jared Stillman, what, like most people have just random stationery that has their name on it, and then you just write whatever. And it's in the safe in my house because it was the last show that Floyd and I ever did where we reacted to a Titans game. And it was funny because I put together a list of points that the Titans gave the Colts on that Thursday night game last year, where it was A.J. Brown dropping a wide-open touchdown. Tannehill put the ball perfectly on a deep ball. It was in his hands. He dropped it. 7 points you lost out right there. Daquan Jones sacked Phillip Rivers, but spent so much time celebrating the sack that they couldn't get it lined up on the next play, and Indianapolis was able to kick a field goal right before the half. That's 3 points. Clowney on 4th down had the guy in the backfield, didn't get him. They got the first down. They scored points. That's 3 points. 7 points on a blocked, I think it was the blocked punt, that they recovered in the end zone for a touchdown. 7 points on the shanked punt by Trevor Daniel, a.k.a. FedEx, which they ended up putting into the end zone. And it ended up being 30 points that they either didn't score themselves or they just gifted to Indianapolis. And, Floyd knocked those down a little bit, hold on, you can't say that one and you can't say that one. But it was still 25 or something crazy like that. And I think there's a lot of us that look at this and think a couple of things. Number one, it's not going to be that easy this year. It can't be this easy that before Halloween or on Halloween, which this game is Sunday on Halloween, that on Halloween the division race is over. It can't be that simple.
It could be.
But there's a lot of us.
It feels too good to be true.
Even the best years of the Titans, it's never been like that.
But has the AFC South been this bad?
No. That is a big factor.
Yeah.
In all of this. But
because,
the
Titans still haven't played the Texans.
It feels like it can't be that easy. Right? You think it can't be this easy. And I think that's part of it. And then I think the other part of this, too, is the idea of, hey, the Titans always screwed up when they play the Colts. Ryan Porth texted me yesterday and said, I expect them to lose because when they play the Colts, they lose. So.
And going into the season, I said for sure would beat the Colts. The first time they play them at Nissan Stadium, for sure would lose to the Colts when they're on the road at Indianapolis.
Do you still feel that way now?
I don't know, because I think we've learned a lot about this team. But it kind of makes me nervous going into this season. I just kind of expected them to split this series with the Colts.
So let's get your phones on it. 615-737-1025. I am congratulating Titan fans again, or giving yourselves a pat on the back, or whatever you want to call it, because Titan fans they're not overlooking the Colts game. And I got to believe the Titans are not overlooking the Colts game either. I mean, this is a big one. Coming up next, do we think that this is for the division? Do we think that a win on Sunday would essentially lock up the division? We'll discuss that next. 615-737-1025 today on Stillman and Company. It's ESPN 1025 The Game, and we're streaming on the Game Nashville app.
Saturday afternoon.
That's up for Yossi to score. Tic-tac-toe. Roman Yossi.
Roman Yossi and the Nashville Predators welcome the New York Islanders to Bridgestone Arena. Pre-game at 11:30. Face-off at 12:30. On Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey.
Hey.
Nice tailgate setup.
Thanks. Dos Equis?
Sure.
Really hits the spot.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Well, I hope your team never wins as long as I'm alive.
Same to you.
A dose of respect. Brought to you by Dos Equis, proud sponsor of college football.
get a dose. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2021. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe. Get your payout before the game's out with BetMGM. Place a moneyline wager on any Thursday night football game, and if your team is up by 10 or more points at halftime, you win. That's a full payout for only half the game, no matter what happens the rest of the way. Simply go to your BetMGM account and opt in each week to the Thursday night halftime payout promotion. Want to continue wagering in the third quarter? Keep it rolling with BetMGM's extensive live betting options. Need to hit the sack early? Use your winnings to place a one-game parlay on Sunday and go for gridiron glory. If you're new to BetMGM, just download the app today and see how you can turn halftime into cash time like me. Make a moneyline bet on Thursday night, and if your team is up by 10 or more, you'll win at the half. Only at BetMGM. Opt-in required. Must be 21 years or older. Must be in Tennessee. Visit BetMGM.com for a full list of terms and conditions. For problem gambling support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789.
Hose and Belting Specialties in Murfreesboro is your local source for hydraulic, air, water, and chemical hoses, along with conveyor, timing, and metric belt needs. They stock metric fittings for both air and hydraulic applications. Hose and Belting Specialties stocks Parker hydraulic hoses and fittings, Goodyear Conti-Tech industrial hoses, and V-belts, just to name a few of their lines. For any of your industrial needs, call 615-895-HOSE. 615-895-HOSE.
Are you tired of living with chronic pain, knee pain, joint pain? Listen carefully, because now there are new treatments available here. Not talking surgery or steroids. These are regenerative treatments from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Willie Donick here. QC Kinetics is the leader in these exciting biologic therapies that help restore and repair damaged tissue in your joints with lasting results. So if you've got pain in your knees, shoulders, hip, or back, joint pain that won't go away, you need to check out these new treatments with astonishing patient satisfaction reports. They can actually help your body restore and repair itself with no downtime, no drugs, and no surgery. So call now to schedule your free consultation at QC Kinetics. 615-249-4024. Tired of dealing with joint pain and want to get moving again? You need to learn more about how biologic therapies are changing the way we think about dealing with joint pain. It's exciting stuff, so don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024.
Hey, Nashville, get ready to party Smashville style. On February 26th, the Nashville Predators will make history with the first ever outdoor NHL game in Tennessee as they host the 2022 Navy Federal Credit Union NHL Stadium Series. The Preds will take on the back-to-back Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning in front of 70,000 rockin' fans. Visit NHL.com/Stadium Series tickets.
Sunday afternoon.
It is caught by Godwin for the touchdown.
It's our NFL Game of the Week, brought to you by Red Spirits and Wine in Bellevue. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers visit the New Orleans Saints.
Touchdown, New Orleans.
Coverage begins at 2:45
on ESPN
102.5 The Game.
Hey, it's ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck on Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
How much different does Wentz maybe look from a mobility standpoint from when you faced him and effectiveness standpoint?
I think obviously much more effective. Doing a really nice job, and I think that his health probably has a big reason to do with that. I think also their ability just to kind of improve as the season's gone on. This is a much better football team in all phases. Than the one that we saw, and that was a difficult test then. They're essentially 4-0. They won 4 games in a row. I know they lost to the Ravens, but they played outstanding. They just unfortunately, ran into a tough night with how Lamar played there in the second half.
There you go. That was Vrabel. They basically won 4 in a row except for the game that they didn't win. Which, by the way, come on, we know Vrabel. We know Vrabel does not count moral victories in the NFL.
Absolutely not.
So he's trying to compliment the Colts, and that is such BS. But I give Vrabel credit because, that's what a coach is supposed to do. But, Vrabel would never walk in there and say, well, we should have won that game, but...
so we'll just count it.
We practically won the Jets game. A.J. Brown just didn't play. No, Mike. But he knows that.
And you know, Arizona game was at the beginning of the season, so it barely ever happened. So undefeated. Good job, Titans.
Do you think the AFC South is over with a win on Sunday?
It would be hard to say that it's not, because it's not looking like the Jags or the Texans are any threat to the Titans, and the Titans would have each tiebreaker against the Colts. So to me, yes, it feels over. Barring any sort of Titans weird thing where they lose both games to the Texans, knock on wood, it feels like it should be over if the Titans win on Sunday.
Ian, do you think the division is over if the Titans win on Sunday?
I'd like to think so, but I can't rule it out. No, I can't.
So if the Titans win on Sunday, they'll be 6-2. The Colts will be 3-5. That's a difference of 3 in both the win column and the loss column. But it's really 4 because any tied record would put you at the advantage having the tiebreaker of having won both games. So you're really 4 games up. The Colts' schedule includes at Buffalo, Tampa Bay, and Arizona. That's 3 more losses. So that puts them at 8. So all the Titans have to do is get to 9 wins. Before you get to Browns or to the Steelers, Patriots, Saints, 49ers, you know, all these other teams. It's before you get to those. Because I think I could see in my head the Titans going out and losing to the Patriots or losing on the road at Pittsburgh, even though they shouldn't. I mean, I could see them losing to one of those teams because they got some decent players and they've got a good coach and you're on the road. And I think that the Saints and the Patriots are after the Rams, so you get the long trip to L.A., long trip back. You've just run through the gauntlet. Then you got to fly up to Foxborough and play the Patriots before the bye week.
In November when it's freezing.
And usually teams look forward to the bye week, and it's like the last day of work before vacation, and everybody's just looking at the clock, waiting for it to hit whatever time you leave. Okay, you lose Patriots. But again, all you got to do is win 9 games. In my opinion, win 9 games. If you win on Sunday, you play the Texans twice and the Jags once more. And surely you're going to not lose all those Patriots, Saints, 49ers at home, Steelers games that are left. And that also doesn't take away from the fact that you could be the Rams. I mean, I cannot see Indianapolis beating Buffalo at Buffalo, a dome team going to Buffalo, Tampa Bay at home, or on the road at Arizona. Because I just don't think they're good enough. Even on one of those teams' not-so-great days, I don't think they're good enough to beat that kind of team. I don't think the Colts are very good. Now, there's one thing about the Colts that I think does stand out to me. Their offensive line is playing better. So Nelson is back, and he's healthy, and Ryan Kelly is back, and the left tackle Fisher, they've now played together a little bit, and so I think their line is kind of gelling, which I don't like, but I don't think that puts them over the top against Arizona or Tampa Bay. So if you win Sunday, all you have to do is beat the Texans and the Jags in the division shares, which is crazy. But then again, if you go 4-0, or if you go 6-0 in your division, you're probably going to win it.
Yes.
Let's go to your phone. 615-737-1025. Phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. What do we have in the text line?
Josh texts in and says, nothing is guaranteed with the Titans, but I do think if we beat Indianapolis, we win the division because the only team we'd face besides the Rams, we will be the favorites. Indianapolis still has to play the Cards, the Bills, and the Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, that's my whole theory is, again, you don't have to do anything except beat the Texans and the Jags in order to essentially clinch the division after that. So this is like those days where New England plays in the AFC East with bad Buffalo and Cleo Lemon and the Miami Dolphins and, the Jets that can never get out of their own way. And it's like Thanksgiving and the Patriots are legitimately clinching the division with hats and shirts. And that's because everybody else was so bad. But that whole season, the Patriots don't spend any time being worried about those teams in the division. I mean, I think Floyd was in New England for 4 years. So I think he's got 4 AFC East hats and shirts. Now, I have never been through Floyd's closet, but I do feel like we got a pretty good idea of what the wardrobe was like on a daily basis because we saw it every day, and it was like Titans shirt, Titans pants, Patriots shirt, Titans pants, Patriots shirt, Patriots pants, Patriots this, Titans that. Like, that's his entire wardrobe. And I never once saw an AFC East championship anything. And I highly doubt that he kept them like, oh, let me make sure to keep this AFC East championship hat from 2011 because, God forbid, like, I never felt like that mattered to the Patriots.
Well, it's something that is a feat for sure. You know, you got to win the AFC East before you win the AFC and before you win the Super Bowl. But to teams whose expectation is Super Bowl every year, it just kind of seems silly and trivial. For example, Ole Miss has an SEC West champion banner hanging in their stadium. You think Alabama has an SEC West championship banner hanging in their stadium? No. Ben texts into the text line, not Indy Ben.
Where is Indy Ben? We've been talking some mad smack about maybe the cheerleading talk got him turned off.
Maybe. He'll be back. He always comes back.
That is true.
Ben texts in and says the Titans don't need to know that they won the division until at least week 13. Jared always worries about the mental aspect of it. Well, they will definitely get complacent if they know they are making the playoffs in week 8. We don't need them to be on cruise control at all before the postseason.
Don't we all think they're going to make the playoffs now anyways?
It feels like they will, yes.
They made the playoffs 3 out of the last 4 years. They're 5-2. They just beat the Bills and the Chiefs. Even if they don't win the division, the odds of them making the playoffs are pretty strong. I don't think that there's any idea around here that they don't expect to make the playoffs. I think everybody's vision, including theirs, changes if they win to, okay, Colts, Jags, Texans out of the way. Where's Buffalo? Where's Baltimore? Where's Cincinnati? Where's the Chargers? Where's all these other teams? And what seed you may break? Because, again, you got the second best odds according to 538. You have the second best odds of being the number 1 seed in the AFC. And there is a lot of value in that. I was talking to my dad about this yesterday when we were watching the World Series. And I said, I think a part of the value in having the bye is that that's one less week where nobody can get injured. Mm-hmm. You know, where you cannot, you can bring guys back and guys that have some issues can heal it up. But that's one game you don't have to play where you lose a corner to a broken leg. You know, that is, I think, another aspect of having the bye and then having every game at home. So not having to go to frigid Buffalo, not having to go to all the way to Los Angeles. Like, I think those are big things. Chris Sanders will join us next, former Titans receiver. He has been hot for the Titans, picking them to beat the Bills, picking them to beat the Chiefs. He got them both right. He joins us coming up next. His thoughts on the Colts, his thoughts on the division, and how about the way A.J. Brown's played? We'll get Chris Sanders' thoughts on that. It's family time in Smashville this Saturday at Bridgestone Arena, 12:30 hockey. The spooky Smashville family 4-pack includes 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 sodas, and 4 free skate passes at the Ford Ice Center. The first 5,000 kids to arrive will receive a Halloween tote for arena trick-or-treating. Prices start at $129. See you in Smashville. Get tickets today at NashvillePredators.com/FamilyPack. Stillman and Company, we're delivered by TriStar Moving. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. High temperature this afternoon, 68 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Winds will be picking up with storms moving in after midnight, and those are with us for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Football is here, Titans fans. With 5 locations throughout Middle Tennessee, it's easy to find the perfect corner pub to meet up with friends and family to cheer on your favorite team. Brunch it up this Sunday in Cool Springs and head downtown and watch the Titans on the 50-foot LED screen, where we'll be live on location with Jared and friends. Stop into any location for game day food and drink specials. Corner Pub, your local family-friendly sports bar, located in Brentwood, downtown Nashville, Bellevue, Cool Springs, and Franklin. The neighborhood meets at the corner.
Genesis Diamonds is gearing up for their biggest and last sale, November 5th, 6th, and 7th. It's an extra special event with savings of 20, 25, even up to 35%. Store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, nothing's held back for this once-a-year 3-day extravaganza. Acclaimed designers will be flying in with expanded collections and exceptional pricing. Plus, get 0% interest financing. The final store-wide sale of the year with discounts up to 35%. Get first pick on top gifts for the holidays, November 5th through 7th only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
When you're
Genesis Diamonds has a sale. You know it's the real deal. And it's happening November 5th, 6th, and 7th. Our final store-wide sale of the year with deep discounts up to 35% off. This is the big one. The one where the staff knows they can break all the rules. Plus, the selection is nearly doubled with designers flying in their entire collections, all of it on sale. This is the last and best jewelry buying opportunity of the year. Save up to 35%, zero interest financing. November 5th, 6th, and 7th only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
102.5 The Game has your chance to win Preds tickets all month long. Just post a picture of your radio dial set to 102.5 The Game on social media and tag the game and use hashtag TicketDash to be instantly qualified. All brought to you by Social Furniture. Shop local. Shop social.
Rock Bottom Nashville is Broadway's original brewery, where all brews are brewed on site. Josh Rappaport is Rock Bottom's brewmaster, creating fresh craft beers where peak flavors are always the rule. Grab one of their blockbuster beers to pair with their nachos, pretzel bites, and delicious flatbreads. They even have group catering. They boast one of the best views of downtown Nashville and is a short walk to Titan Stadium. And enjoy happy hour Monday through Friday afternoons from 2 until 6. Rock Bottom Nashville, 111 Broadway.
Middle Tennessee football is back at Floyd Stadium Saturday, October 30th. Your Blue Raiders host the Southern Miss Golden Eagles as we welcome back our alumni for a true Boo homecoming game with kickoff set at 2:30 p.m. Floyd Stadium provides guaranteed fun for fans of all ages with the Blue Raider Beer Garden, Family Fun Zone, and more. Make sure to come early to catch all the pregame homecoming festivities. Make sure to head to ntalumni.com for a list of all homecoming events. To purchase your tickets, head to goblueraiders.com/tickets. Go Blue!
Robbie Stanley.
Maybe it doesn't hurt their bottom line this year. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen on that front.
Joe Rexrode.
5 guys who are on the roster are not going to be on the roster.
Get your morning started with Robbie and Rexrode every weekday from 6 to 10. Presented by Volunteer State Bank on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
You're listening to Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
Hey, be sure to check out the NFL Game of the Week presented by Red Spirits and Wine in Bellevue. The NFL Game of the Week this week is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints. Kickoff 3:25 ESPN 102.5 The Game. I am a big believer in credit where credit is due. Chris Sanders came on Monday before the Titans played the Bills and said, I'm taking the Titans. Chris Sanders said on the pregame show on Sunday, he's taking the Titans over the Chiefs. And Chris Sanders said winning the coin toss and getting the football was going to be a big deal. Now, I don't think the Titans won the toss. I think they lost the toss and then received in the first half. But they moved down the field, they scored a touchdown, and they never looked back on Sunday. So even though his logic may be flawed, he nailed that one too. Chris Sanders, former Titans receiver, joins us now on the program. Chris, how do you feel about the Titans after their 2 big wins?
Man, I'm feeling good. I'm over here smiling. But the one thing I'm really excited about, I know we were giving Todd Downing and a lot of those offensive coordinators a bad rap. But what they did on offense was spectacular. This is the first time in a long time that I've seen a balanced offense from the Tennessee Titans. You had Henry that had 29 rushes. You had Tannehill that had 27 rushes. And what he did also is he kept the Kansas City Chiefs off balance with the formations, 3-by-1, empty, wildcat, all those things. So, man, it was just a very good sight to see because we haven't seen that in the past, and we actually saw a balanced offense last Sunday.
I think the last 2 games, Chris, have proven to me how valuable A.J. Brown is to the Titans. And I think that, like, for example, Kansas City, and they talked about this on the pregame show to Sunday Night Football. Tony Dungy was breaking it down, and he said, look at all the guys around the line of scrimmage at Kansas City.
Absolutely.
And I go back to the Jets game where A.J. Brown didn't play, and I think Tannehill, for example, the touchdown pass he threw to A.J. wasn't open. But he knew that if he put it in that spot with that man-for-man coverage, A.J. was going to go up and get it. And I don't think when you've got guys that aren't A.J. Brown out there that Tannehill has the faith to do that, and that's what led to him in the Jets game, holding on to the football too long, unsure of what to throw. But he's got so much trust in A.J. winning his matchup that he's okay throwing the football. And it's really, I think, a big warning sign to teams that are going to try to load the box and take Derrick Henry away.
Man, absolutely. I mean, at the beginning of the season, we wasn't seeing those explosive plays, and then now, the Tennessee Titans or the offense is getting one-on-one on the outside. When A.J. Brown was out, you just didn't feel comfortable with the receiving corps, but then you have him out here, and they bring a safety down low, and they go cover one that's, man-to-man across the board in a free safety. And I'm looking at my chops as a quarterback. If I'm telling you, and I see A.J. Brown, a guy that's 6'2", 6'3", 240, 245 frame, I'm just going to throw the ball up. That's exactly what he did. I know he threw the long one to him that was actually on the money, but the one touchdown that he caught, he just threw it up and let A.J. Brown make a play. So when you talk about defending the Tennessee Titans, everybody's going to say you got to stop the run. Yeah, you better stop the run, but also you got a big dog out there, A.J. Brown, is going to make those explosive plays. Now, if we get Julio Jones back, I mean, it gets even worse. Who are you going to cover? If you're going to try to cover A.J. Brown, Julio Jones can make this spectacular play. If you cover Julio Jones, now A.J. Brown is going to beat you on a deep pass or explosive play. So this is going to be a tough offense for defenses to stop if A.J. Brown keeps playing like this.
When do you think, Chris Sanders with us, when do you think Julio will be able to make the impact? So far, he's on pace for his lowest total ever, in playing a full season or most of a full season, and just a little bit over 700 yards, has not scored a touchdown yet. We've seen him play 5 games for the Titans. He was dominant in the Seattle game. So we know that it has been there at least once this year. How long until you think they can work Julio into that mix? Because I'm with you. If they get the Seattle Julio and the Buffalo AJ and the every week Derrick Henry, I do not know if you can stop this offense.
Absolutely, but it's all going to depend on Julio Jones. We talked about this at the beginning of the year. We talked about when, they were thinking about bringing on him. The concern was, can he stay healthy? Because in Atlanta, he made some big plays and, had 1,000 yards, but he's consistently hurt. So now if we can just get him on the field, and I don't know, and I respect Mike Vrabel and I respect J. Rob, but I don't know what's keeping Julio Jones from not playing in the third and fourth quarter, because if you look at when they played the Kansas City Chiefs last week, I mean, he caught an 18-yard pass, he caught another pass, but then all of a sudden, the rest of the game, he's absent. You look on the sidelines, you see Julio Jones sitting in there, but you see A.J. Brown in the game. You see Westbrook. You see all the other receivers in there, but why isn't Julio Jones in the game?
Chris Sanders is our guest. How important do you think Michael Pruitt has become to this mix?
I mean, we talked about, and you scream it every week, we need tight ends. You say that every single week. But he consistently shows up on field. He consistently makes a play in the game. It might not be a 30-yard catch or a 40-yard catch, but he's catching touchdowns and he's keeping the chains moving. So even though he might not be as valuable or as big of a playmaker as Jonnu Smith was, but he's playing consistently in each and every game. So, even though, he's catching a 1-yard touchdown or 3rd and 5, he's catching a first down, he's still valuable to this Tennessee Titans offense.
Chris, how worried are you about the Colts? The one thing I think I'm giving the fans credit for is I don't think they're getting too caught up on the Kansas City and Buffalo wins. I think they're looking forward to this Indianapolis game. We've seen how divisional games can be in the past, especially against the Colts. What do you think of this game? How do you feel about this game, and what are you worried about when it comes to Indianapolis?
I'm a little nervous, and the reason why I'm a little nervous is because Indianapolis has to win this game to stay in the race. I mean, everybody knows the division race, and everybody knows about the playoffs. But this is a different team than when they played them the first time. They were banged up. Carson Wentz was playing inconsistent. He was playing on 2 broken ankles. Then now he's playing with confidence. He's inspiring his offense. He's inspiring his defense, and they're playing at a different level. I watched last week when they beat the 49ers. I was watching them come in the locker room, and I saw the energy in their eyes. I saw the passion in their eyes to say, you know what, we just came to San Francisco and beat 49ers. If we take one game at a time and we go on to beat the Tennessee Titans, we're right in this. That's a dangerous team to me. So, yeah, I'm concerned, but at the end of the day, I still don't know who's going to win. I was going to say the Titans, but I just don't know.
When you go back to your playing days, do you ever remember being in the same spot that the Colts are, where because I got to believe, right, Indianapolis knows if they lose Sunday, the division's probably gone.
Yeah.
And I wonder what that is like and how dangerous that makes the Colts.
I mean, you got a team that's hungry. I mean, and the thing about it is this is what makes this game so dangerous and so scary is because everybody, when they were 1-4, everybody was riding them off. They was talking about how bad Wentz was, how bad the offensive line was playing, how bad the defense is, how bad the secondary is. But now you're in a position to win a divisional game and put yourself right back in the race. I mean, that's a dangerous team. And then we're going on the road to where it's a hostile, fans. You got hostile things that are going on down there. But at the end of the day, the team that starts out fast, the team which quarterback that makes the least amount of mistakes is definitely the team that's going to win.
What do you make of the Tannehill mistakes? To your point, it feels to me like when Tannehill was here, every now and then he'd panic in the pocket for the first 2 years and maybe throw an interception. But, I mean, he is on pace to almost double the interceptions that he threw last year. He threw another one on Sunday where he wasn't expecting the blitz, or the blitz got through and he threw the ball right to the linebacker, and it didn't kill him. But it does feel like we're seeing these Tannehill, I call them the Tannehill pocket panic turnover, because it feels like once a week we're getting one of these, and I don't like it. What do you think of it?
It's concerning. He's just got to protect the football better. He can't fumble, and he can't make interceptions. I mean, it's not that he's trying to do something that he's not accustomed to do. I just think at times he doesn't feel comfortable in the pocket. And if you're a quarterback and you're not comfortable in the pocket and you're uneasy, you're going to make some mistakes. I mean, just look at a couple of weeks ago where I forgot what game it was, but he threw like one or two interceptions, and it just throws the momentum of the offense off in the rhythm. So he just can't do that. He has to protect the football. And here's what he has to do as a quarterback: live another down. Just live another down. If you have to throw the ball away and punt, that's okay. But if you're turning the ball up to an opponent offense with the Indianapolis Colts, with Taylor, with Pittman, and those other receivers, then now it can be dangerous for you making those mistakes.
I think one thing that bothers me with Tannehill's mistakes so far this year, Chris, are kind of to your point about the live another down, or it's like when they scrimmaged Tampa Bay, Logan Woodside threw 3 interceptions in a row, and I asked Vrabel about it after the practice, and Vrabel said what we were doing in that drill was last play of the game scenarios. So the quarterback has to throw the ball no matter what in that last play of the game scenario. And I was like, okay, makes sense. Last play of the game, got to have a touchdown. Ball's got to come out. I don't care if it goes to the other team. Ball's got to come out. Tannehill makes mistakes like where he panics and throws the football, where, to your point, just take the sack.
Just take the sack, kick
the field goal, go up 30-3, you're good. But he doesn't. Or against the Jets, he takes the delay of game penalty where you're right on the edge of field goal range. Like, you can't take that penalty right there.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what's bothering me, because I think Tannehill's a smart player. I really do. And I think Tannehill understands the game as it's going on. But part of that quarterback thing is to know. And you hear Tony Romo talking about it on the broadcast all the time. Like, I got 9 seconds. I got to get 13 yards. I've got to clock it there. I've got it. Like, it's a hard position to play and think at the same time. I get it. But that's why you make $30 million. And I feel like Tannehill's made a lot of those mistakes this year, Chris.
He's made. I mean, what you said in a nutshell, you're 100% right. But I'm gonna flip it a little bit. All that was negative. I'm not saying it was negative, but you're right. But here's the good thing about it is that I love about Tannehill. Even though he throws interception, even though he makes mistakes, even though he fumbles, even though he throws the ball, you're like, what in tarnations are you doing? When the game is on the line, when it's time to have a drive to make a touchdown or a field goal or to tie the game up, he consistently does that. I don't know what it is. He zones in. I don't know if he's reading the coverages better. I don't know if he's doing something different as opposed to earlier in the game. I don't know if he's playing loose in the game or not focused, but when the game is on the stinking line and they have to get a touchdown, they have to have a 97-yard drive to get a touchdown, he always delivers.
There is something with that. Last year, he led the league in fourth-quarter comebacks and in game-winning drives. Chris Sanders, former Titans receiver, he'll be with us for the pregame show on Sunday. Chris, appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man.
Yep, Chris Sanders joining us on the program, as he always does. And, Chris, you know what's funny, Caroline, is last week, I think they're going to beat the Chiefs. Week before that, I think they're going to beat the Bills. This week, I'm nervous about the Colts.
He's skeptical.
What do we make of that? We'll get to that. 615-737-1025. We'll get to that. Stillman and Company right here on ESPN 1025 The Game. Edmunds, buying a car can be overwhelming, especially now that the demand is back and in full swing. Lucky for you, Edmunds has been taking the stress out of car shopping for over 50 years. Edmunds editors drive over 500,000 miles every year, testing thousands of hours on hundreds of new vehicles. They review almost every car in the market and rank the best ones in each category, so you can narrow your search and compare options side by side to find the best vehicle for you. When you're ready, Edmunds makes it easy to find options in your area with accurate price estimates. Edmunds has helpful filters, so you can search by color, model, special features, engine type, drivetrain, price, distance, and more. They even show you dealerships that are offering home delivery right now. I love that option. Edmunds is here to guide you to your perfect vehicle. Visit Edmunds.com to see their best car rankings and search for vehicles near you. That's EDMUNDS.com for cars. There's Edmunds.
Your speaker at home is so smart that even Alexa knows where to find Nashville's best sports talk.
102.5 The Game is Nashville's best sports talk.
Ask Alexa to enable 102.5 The Game. Once enabled, ask Alexa to play 102.5 The Game.
Welcome to 102.5 The Game.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Fiero Tequila Habanero is for those who enjoy the flavor of spice, naturally infused with fresh, vine-ripened peppers from farmers in the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. Fiero Tequila Habanero is unapologetically the spiciest infused tequila available in the U.S. The hand-picked habaneros provide a delicious kick to the smooth Blanco tequila. It's a flavor punch that's perfect as a shot or a spicy way to spice up your hard seltzer, or perfect for a fiery cocktail. Available at fine liquor stores and your favorite drinking establishments. Fiero Tequila, the world belongs to the brave.
It's the sound of the skates sliding on the ice. It's the rumble of music and vibration under your feet. It's the sea of gold sweeping across Bridgestone Arena. The Nashville Predators are back in action with the excitement you've been waiting for. These are the golden moments you do not want to miss. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvillePredators.com/tickets to secure your seat. Grab your gold and show your pride because we're painting the town Preds. Smashville. It's time for Nashville Predators hockey. Visit NashvillePredators.com today.
Lift it, load it, grade it, grind it, move it, haul it, rig it, dig it, Craneworks, Rentalworks, yeah! The big dog's got it.
Craneworks is ready to help lift Nashville. As the Southeast's most trusted name in crane and equipment rental for over 30 years, Craneworks offers certified operators to make sure the job is done right. Rentalworks has a diverse fleet of equipment to assist in any project, big or small. From forklifts to carry deck cranes, they have it all. When it's time for your next lift, machinery moving, or rigging project, call Craneworks. Visit Craneworks.com.
Since their doors opened in 1898 in England, Arkansas, Bank of England Mortgage has been providing down-home exceptional service. Bank of England's success is due to the talent of their loan officers and their access to hundreds of mortgage products at the industry's best pricing. Bank of England Mortgage has 3 Middle Tennessee locations ready to serve you. Go to BOE1214.com or call 615-823-1215. Bank of England Mortgage is a division of Bank of England Mortgage. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, NMLS 418-481.
The spine, made up of 33 bones, is vulnerable to injuries, arthritis, and other disorders. Dr. Daniel Caridley at Houston Clinic Orthopedics in TriStar Skyline and TriStar Centennial can diagnose your problem and treat you with the proper care. Fellowship-trained Dr. Caridley devotes his practice to spine surgery with a focus on cervical and lumbar disc replacement, minimally invasive techniques, and the use of computer navigation and robot assistance in spine surgery. Visit tn.houston.com. Houston Clinic Orthopedics, when experience matters.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT-FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk,
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. By the way, I can tell that we had our office meeting today because I almost said TriStar Media. Laid out TriStar Moving.
Media on the brain.
Media on the brain.
Yep.
So Chris Sanders, former Titans receiver, and I love Chris to death. I think he says some crazy stuff sometimes.
Yes, he does.
And I think my favorite thing about it is that I mean, Chris Sanders has been one of the nicest guys in town for 20 years. I mean, I remember when he used to go on Channel 4 after the games every night on Sunday, and Rudy Kalis would bring him in, and it'd be like, all right, Chris, what did we think of, this game today on Sports Sunday or whatever? And, I mean, I wanted to hear what Chris Sanders had to say. And I will never forget, like, my first, and I've told Chris this, my first week maybe, or first month on the job, I said to Floyd, I go, hey, and I don't even really know Floyd at this point. And I said, hey, who's somebody that I can bring on the air that would be, a former Titan that would be good to have on the radio that, people would, and he goes, Chris Sanders, just right away. And we started having Chris on every week, and I had a great relationship with Chris, and I think anybody who knows Chris has a great relationship with Chris. But, I mean, I really was like, man, this guy, he's the nicest guy I've ever met. I remember one time we got a bunch of information back, and, Ryan was showing, this segment you guys do is this popular, and this segment, and then the Chris Sanders segment is, and I remember
people love Chris Sanders.
I remember telling Floyd that, like, the Chris Sanders segment was, and this was, years ago, whatever, and I was like, it's like the highest, most biggest that and he goes, people love him. People love him. Chris loves the Titans. Chris felt very confident they were going to beat the Bills. I thought, Chris, come on now. They beat the Bills. Chris said on Sunday they're going to be the Chiefs. Mark Howard went 37-27. I went 38-28. Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Chris picked the Titans. So I'm thinking, man, Chris is just riding high right now. Said today he's nervous about the Colts. Said today he doesn't know who he's going to pick between the Titans and the Colts. And I think that's pretty eye-opening coming from a guy whose glass is always half full in Chris Sanders.
Especially when it comes to the Titans.
Especially when it comes to the Titans. So what do we make of that? Is there a sense, given the spot that Indianapolis is in, where we've gone over the math, if Indianapolis loses this game, the chances of them winning the division are minuscule. Do we think that this game may be harder, given what's on the line, given that it's on the road, given that it's a Colt team that has given the Titans historically in the past a lot of problems? Do we think this may be a harder game Sunday than the two that they just played, even though going into those games, we looked at those opponents with wide eyes like, oh, my goodness, it's the Bills. Oh, my goodness, it's the Chiefs.
Well, it depends on how much stock you put in home field advantage. I do think that that plays a factor, being at home, not having to travel, having your home fans there, being comfortable in your environment. I don't think it should play that much of a factor here, because it's not like the Titans are flying out to L.A. to play the Rams team that they may play once every 5-6 years.
Sure.
Indianapolis is a place that they are used to going.
It's like a 45-minute flight.
Right. Like, it's not like it's some cross-country, super difficult, first time a lot of guys have played here type of environment. So of course you're going to play that into factor, but I don't think that's going to play a huge factor here. For me, the thing that I'm most concerned about is the fact that I just know that the Titans do things that you don't expect them to do. Like beating the Bills on Monday Night Football. That should be a football team that you are like, okay, we feel confident about this team, about this Indianapolis Colts team that doesn't really seem to be that great, a team that has a quarterback that neither of us are very high on. Really, the only threat that I see that Indianapolis poses is potentially Jonathan Taylor. Ian and I were talking about that earlier. I'm most worried about Jonathan Taylor potentially going off. But it doesn't feel like anything that the Titans can't overcome, because they have Jonathan Taylor. Well, guess what? The Titans have the best running back in the league in Derrick Henry. Maybe the best player in the league in Derrick Henry. So it's all illogical to me right now. But for some reason, I just have a weird feeling. I have a weird feeling that I don't know if this Titans team can win 3 games in a row.
So I think they can. I mean,
they can. I just don't think they will.
I'm going to say this. It was a big point in 2019. The way that all evolved from, we all know 2-4 through the first 6 games, to the AFC Championship game. Like, it's very easy. It's like they were over here and then they were over there. And a lot of people are doing that right now with the Braves. Like, they're looking at the Braves and they were like, they were under 500. Ronald Acuna got hurt. Mm-hmm. Now they're in the World Series. Well, a lot of this has to do, too, when right after the trade deadline, they went through like a 3-week stretch where they played the Nationals, the Orioles, and some other team who stunk. Mm-hmm. And they swept them, the Marlins. And they played like 3 weeks of just those teams. And I think they lost one game maybe. And all those teams are terrible. And they just crushed them. And they kind of came out on the other side. The 2019 Titans, they went through a period where they made the quarterback switch to Tannehill. And they beat the Chargers. They beat the Buccaneers. And you were thinking, okay, like now this is a different team than it was before. They beat the Chiefs. They got embarrassed by Carolina. We all thought, okay, year's over. They beat the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. Then we started to get our hopes up. Then they played a big game against Houston, lost to Houston and the Saints. And they didn't really totally look that way. But before Thanksgiving, they were in that middle tier of the AFC, like the outside looking in. They were nowhere near the top. They were where I would put the Patriots right now, where I'd put the Steelers right now, where I'd put the Colts right now, where I'd put the Raiders right now. They were in that kind of period. And they had, I believe, at the Colts, at the Raiders, and Jacksonville all in a row. And it was like, can they get past these teams? And they went to the Raiders and they won. Like they won in Oakland, and they're not good traveling out west. And Oakland was on kind of par with them at that time. And they crushed Oakland. They played Indianapolis, and it was like, hey, they never go to Indianapolis and have success. And Indy had some injuries, and then the Titans won that game, blocked a kick, hit Khalif Raymond for a bomb, took advantage of some injuries the Colts had. They won that game. And it was kind of like, whoa, these are games that normally the Titans screw one up between now and then. And that's where they really stacked their wins and got into that game with the Texans where it was essentially for the division. And I look at this and I'm like, we felt at that time 2 years ago that those were two prove it games for the Titans, that they probably should win, but we knew in the back of our minds, like, this is the same team that went to Carolina and just got housed. And they did the job then. So I do wonder if there's like a mental threshold with us and the Titans that if they win this game, because we've talked about it, if they win this game, they win the division. And if they win the division, now we're talking about the top of the AFC and meaning it every week. And that's probably the difference here. I don't know. It's crazy. Let's go to your phones. 615-737-1025 phone line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Ralph, kick us off this hour on the Colts. Thank you for calling. Go ahead, Ralph.
Hey, Jared. Okay, this game I think is for Indies like a playoff game. But for the Titans, this is the best time to get back with Indy for what they done for you for past 20 years.
Sure.
Specifically 3 years ago when they got hot, then Mariota get injured and they lost that game. So this is the best time to get back with them and get them out of the way. And I have another thing for you, Jared. How you were high on the Jackrabbit for seeing from practice and all these things?
So I appreciate the call. I'm not exactly sure what he said. I think he said, how am I high on Jackrabbit?
Yeah. Or maybe how high are you on Jackrabbit?
I mean, I think Jackrabbit's a lot like Malcolm Butler. Like, Malcolm Butler, the Titans signed, and Malcolm Butler is an aggressive corner. Like, that's what he always was. He wasn't the fastest guy, but he was a veteran corner that has had a lot of experience in the league, and he would gamble.
And he's healthy.
And he was very aggressive. And Malcolm Butler did that, and he gambled. He'd stare into the backfield, and he got beat for these touchdowns. And Titan fans lost their mind for the first, 6 weeks that Malcolm Butler was a Titan. Oh, my God, he's awful. Why did they do this? Why did they sign him? This is why Belichick benched him. Oh, my God, oh, my. And I just remember thinking to myself, and I mean, I was kind of like, dude, Malcolm, I like Malcolm Butler. Like, what are you doing, Malcolm? But the more I watched Malcolm Butler, the more I was like, they just needed to tame that a little bit and say, okay, hey, this is how disciplined you have to play. But they didn't take that away from Butler, because if you take that away from him, then you're not going to get the big plays out of him. And ultimately, over a 3-year period, they got a lot of big plays out of Malcolm Butler. And I feel the same way about Jackrabbit Jenkins, which is that he's a veteran corner. He's very aggressive. And you're not going to like some of the things that are happening right now. But at the end of the day, he's a veteran corner, and he's going to make some veteran plays that are going to help you win some games. I mean, corner, unless you're a lockdown guy or unless you're Deion Sanders or you're intercepting every pass like Samari Rolle did for the Titans one year, you really don't want to be known at corner. Like, you really want to go under the radar. I can't tell you how many good plays Jackrabbit Jenkins has. I know he's had some bad ones. He had a whiff on a tackle at Kelsey the other day that I was like, oh, goodness. But he's also not normally, corners normally don't tackle Travis Kelsey. So I just think we need to be a little patient with Jackrabbit. We need to understand that the good things maybe that he does we don't totally see. But I would say just like with Butler at that point, he's got to tighten it up a little bit. He's got to button it up. He's got to, cut out the dumb stuff. But I'm not this like I think a lot of people hate Jackrabbit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate Jackrabbit. I mean, I don't
think that he's any sort of Pro Bowl caliber type of corner. But I do think that it has been nice this year to have kind of the consistency and the veteran presence of Jackrabbit, just because this is a pretty young group of corners. This is an injured group of corners, and he's been the most consistent corner throughout.
Sure. Let's get back to your phones next. 615-737-1025 plus some names that did not practice today. Oh, boy. We'll get to that next. Stillman and Company right here on ESPN 1025 The Game. Let me tell all the fine folks out there to join us in partnering with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's Light the Night. Light the Night brings light to the darkness of cancer through hope, research, and support for patients and their families. Nashville's Light the Night will be virtual and take place on November 4th. Learn more at lightthenight.org/TN.
Can he get in? He will! What a run! And a touchdown for Derrick Henry!
King Henry and the Titans are surging into a big Week 8 showdown at Indianapolis.
I challenge y'all, bro. Win every day, not just every game.
And we've got you covered all week long.
That's exactly what this offense needs to be. Are the Tennessee Titans the best team in the AFC?
This is Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Find the right hire right now. Indeed helps you attract, screen, and interview quality candidates all in one place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Gary Ashton here. Most people in Nashville know me as the don't sell without the intel and the guaranteed offer guy. But despite my accent, I'm also 100% guaranteed Nashville. I'm a guaranteed musician, a guaranteed dog lover, and you're also guaranteed to see me at every Titans and Preds game. Guaranteed offer means the Gary Ashton team with RE/MAX Advantage will sell your house for top dollar with no cleaning, staging, showings, or open houses, and give you up to 90 days to close. So there's plenty of time to find your next home. Guaranteed Nashville means my team lives here and loves it here. We've served Nashville for over 20 years, and we're passionate about helping the people we call neighbors and friends, which is why we've had a long-standing tradition of donating to the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. If you're thinking about a guaranteed offer, get the only one that's guaranteed Nashville. Request a no-obligation offer by calling 615-301-1650 or go to GaryAshton.com today. Remember, Gary Ashton, guaranteed Nashville.
Hey Nashville, we think you deserve the very best driving experience, and now is the time for our Season of Change CPO event at Mercedes-Benz of Music City. When you purchase a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz, you're backed by the remaining new vehicle limited warranty. Once that expires, the certified pre-owned limited warranty goes into effect, providing an additional 12 months of coverage with unlimited miles. See all the perks and exceptional offers for your certified pre-owned vehicle from Mercedes-Benz of Music City, mbofmc.com.
Nashville SC Stadium is arriving in 2022, and season tickets are on sale now. With just 150 feet between the pitch and the last row, you'll be right there in the action no matter where you sit. If you thought soccer in Nashville was a party already, you ain't seen nothing yet. So come on in, grab a seat, and stay a while as we open a new era of Nashville sports. For more information on season tickets at the new Nashville SC Stadium, visit nashvillesc.com/22ticks.
More machines, more savings, and more muscle. Only with John Deere construction equipment from Meade Tractor. Hit the heavy jobs harder with our Own It offer and get special financing on select models. New, used, or rent, we have the right equipment and technology solution for you with the affordable financing you need. Contact us today at our Nashville location or go online at meadtractor.com.
Offer valid on qualified purchases and new equipment made between now through October 31st, 2021. Subject to approved installment credit with John Deere Financial for commercial use. Only down payment may be required. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Yo, this is Justin from Music Vintage. We're here to provide you with all your vintage apparel needs. Tons of great shoes and memorabilia from your past. We're located in the heart of East Nashville at 2503 Gallatin Avenue, where we do buy, sell, and trade. Got some clothes your stepdad gave you in the 90s? Found some dope clothes in your granddad's closet? Bring it by, we'll give you a cash offer. Found some at a thrift store and don't know where to sell it? Bring it by, we'll give you a cash offer. Got some new Jordans that don't quite fit well? Bring it by and we'll give you a cash offer. Music Vintage, here to provide you with all your vintage and shoe needs. See y'all soon, Nashville.
312 Pizza Company is Nashville's authentic Chicago pizzeria, and they're now hiring. Work for a family-owned business and be a part of their incredible team. 312 Pizza Company is hiring for all positions, including host, waitstaff, bartenders, cooks, and more. 312 Pizza Company offers health insurance and paid time off to full-time employees. Contact Kimberly at 615-730-7888 or email at contact@312pizzaco.com. 312 is an equal opportunity employer.
Interact with Stillman and Company. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Coach, how nice is it to get few guys actually back at practice today? I know still on that IR, but just getting some healthy bodies out there.
Yeah, I mean, just to get those guys back into to meetings and get them back on the field, see where they're at from a football standpoint, and then as we work our way through the week, we can evaluate, whether they think they can help us this week.
Jayon Brown, part of the designated to return group. Would you put Jayon Brown in the lineup if he returned?
Yeah, why not?
Because
you don't like him?
I'm not taking David Long Jr. out of the lineup.
You taking Rashaan Evans out of the lineup?
I don't know. I don't think against this team. I think.
Why not?
Because Brown is more of a pass, like a defender against the pass.
And I think in every situation, Indy's going to want to run.
Right.
Fair.
Like I'm going to want Rashaan Evans out there. David Long Jr. can do pass coverage stuff against this team, like Mo Alley Cox.
Right.
But with Jonathan Taylor running the football, I think I want Rashaan Evans on the field. Now, I definitely want David Long Jr. on the field.
Oh, for sure.
David Long Jr. is a bad boy, and I want David Long Jr. on the football field. It should be noted, according to TD, no sign today at practice of A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, Monty Rice, Roger Saffold, Bud Dupree, Tierra Tart, Amani Hooker, Chester Rogers, Chris Jackson. Taylor Lewan did practice today. So the guys who were hurt and did not play last week, who did not practice today, Hooker, Rogers, Jackson, Rice. The guys who did play but didn't practice today, Brown, Julio, Roger Saffold, Bud Dupree. Any concern on essentially A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, Bud Dupree not practicing?
I see. Does it give a reason? It's just rest or
eventually
hamstring?
In the next 10 minutes, the injury report will probably come out.
And we'll see why.
But it's not like that's going to tell us. I mean, we already know, right? Hamstring for Julio.
Probably hamstring for A.J.
Knee for Bud Dupree. Everything for Roger Saffold. I mean, he's got everything wrong.
I mean, he leaves every game with an injury.
Every game. And, like, this week it was early.
Death taxes Roger Saffold leaving a game early. It was like,
Roger's down.
Yes. I mean, like, no, it really does not concern me. I mean, if AJ and Julio, if this was like week 3, week 4, when they weren't practicing, when they weren't playing in games, then I would be a little bit more concerned. But until it gets to Thursday or Friday, I'm not going to put too much stake in who practiced today and who didn't. Because I kind of feel like today, AJ, Julio, Bud Dupree, guys who have been dealing with some nagging injuries, it's more of a rest day rather than a, oh no, let's monitor this hamstring injury.
ESPN 94.9 is the official English radio home of the Nashville Soccer Club. Tonight, Nashville SC takes on Cincinnati. Pregame 6:15. The match begins at 6:30. What do we have in the text line?
Josh texts into the text line and says, it is something with the Titans that we just don't understand. We can have the much better team, but just decide to play awfully like when the Titans lost to the winless Colts.
So every time the Titans do something that drives you insane, like get embarrassed that week 1 against Arizona, which in hindsight – the Titans didn't practice and they played Arizona. Like, that's going to happen. But it didn't feel that way then. Or when they lost to the Jets. For some reason, and I don't know why it's Robbie Stanley's voice. Because I've been on the air now for 6 years here, and Robbie has been a daily host for like 1.5 of those. But I can just hear Robbie when something like that happens in my head, and I just hear him go, same old Titans. Just every time. I just hear it. Just every time.
Same old Titans.
Same old Titans. And I'm like, and just that I'll say SOT. And it's like, even though sometimes we think they're not, like we're talking about the number 1 seed. Mm-hmm. There's still an element of same old Titans that I think everybody is waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, that's how we feel about the Titans. Like, you can never get you – like, all year with the Atlanta Braves. right? I picked them to win the World Series before the start of the season. Then I watched them play for like the first 3 months. I'm like, Then I go to one game. Ronald Acuna tears his ACL. I'm like, done. See ya.
And then that's when they started to turn things around.
Well, then they make some trades, and I was against that because I was like, hey, you need to rebuild. You know, next year you'll have everybody back healthy. It'll be, and they knock off the Nationals and the Marlins and the bad teams. And I'm like, well, yeah, but when they play the good teams, like, and they got smoked by the Dodgers and smoked by the Yankees, and I'm like, yeah, like, you know. So they get to the playoffs, and I told my dad, I was like, hey, it'll be great if they win the division, and, like, that's great for them, but they're going to get crushed by the Brewers. Then they beat the Brewers in 4 games. Then I'm like, okay, maybe they got a shot against the Giants, but they're not going to beat the Dodgers. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. Did they beat the Dodgers? I mean, I am still waiting for the second shoe to drop in the World Series against the Astros because I know the Braves.
Same old Braves.
And the Titans, it's like I think Titan fans like me are waiting for that second shoe to drop. But I go back to the 2019 run where it was like, okay, they had some success with Tannehill. They were starting to win some games. You were starting to get excited, but you knew they had to go beat the Colts or they had to beat the Raiders, and you knew they probably weren't because something was going to get screwed up, and yet they did. Like, I'll say this right now. Take any Titan fandom out of it. Neutral observer.
Yeah.
Titans, Saints, and Nashville, who should win?
Titans.
Titans, Steelers, and Pittsburgh, who should win?
Titans.
Titans, Patriots, and New England, who should win?
See, that's tricky because the weather's coming into play. As a total neutral observer, I would probably lean Patriots just because I know that Ryan Tannehill can't play in the cold. But if this was totally neutral site, 65-degree day, Titans.
Well, I'd say that the weather probably benefits you because you got Derrick Henry and they don't.
That's true.
So,
but also small hands Tannehill can't really deal with the cold.
Yeah, but that's like deal with the cold when you have to play Brady in the cold, or deal with the cold when you have to play
whenever
Rodgers
you have a really tough
in the cold.
opponent in the cold. Yeah, it's not like Mac Jones is gonna put your head in the dust.
I think as a neutral observer, I think Titans. This week at Indianapolis, neutral observer, Titans, Colts.
Titans.
I think Titans. But as a Titan fan, there's like this sense of the other shoe's going to fall.
They're going to mess something up.
At some point. Ian, don't you think
roulette.
they're going to mess one of those 4 up?
Which 4? I'm sorry. Oh.
Saints, Patriots, Steelers, or Colts?
I mean, just pure percentages, yes, they will lose one of those.
It just feels like it's going to happen.
But
I hope it doesn't, but it just feels like it's going to happen.
If it's a Saints game or a Steelers game, like, that's fine to me. I mean, obviously, it's not great, but if someone says, okay, here's 4 games the Titans are going to play, pick one for the Titans to lose, I would pick any of those games except the Colts game.
But if you really want to be great, like not just win the division and get into the playoffs, but if you really want to be great, doesn't chasing after home field mean something? Because I don't think you can lose a Patriots game or a Steelers game and have a shot at getting the number 1 seed.
But do you think that not that they can, because I think we both know that they can win all 4 of those games. Do you think that they will?
No, I don't. You know what's crazy? If you beat the Colts and you start stacking wins like you probably should after the Rams game, when the Bills play the Colts, you may be rooting for the Colts.
Yeah, probably.
What else we got on the text line?
Another texter texts into the text line and says, it doesn't matter how bad the Colts won it. They don't have the personnel to beat the Titans unless the Titans play like garbage. I simply don't understand why their biggest investments and accomplishments is a guard and a middle linebacker. Totally unimportant positions. No receivers, DBs suck, and 0 pass rush.
I mean, I will say this about the Colts. I think the Colts' best asset right now is that nobody is talking about is Pittman Jr. And I love Pittman Jr. I mean, I love him. I think he's a dog. I think he's just got an attitude to him, and he scares me this week.
But what can he do if Carson Wentz can't do it with him?
There's some truth. There is some truth to that. But I love Pittman. I mean, to sit there and say that, hey, their whole team is Leonard, Buckner, and Nelson, that's not totally fair. And I do think that, Taylor, Pittman, I mean, they've got some players now.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have a ton of players. And I would agree that if the Titans play their game, I don't think the personnel – I don't think the Colts can do what is required to beat the Titans, which is to take away Derrick Henry and take away A.J. Brown at the same time. and I think the Rams can. Like, I think the Rams have the defensive line with Aaron Donald and those tacklers and Jalen Ramsey to get put on A.J. Brown that I think the Rams can do that. I'm not sure the Colts can. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. The Predators had a big win last night, but there was a bigger news item that I think we need to calmly discuss. You're thinking, what is he talking about? We'll do that next, right here on Stillman & Company. Hey, Preds fans, join us for Smashville Live tonight, right here on ESPN 1025 The Game. Robbie Stanley and Chris Mason will talk with Preds defensemen Dante Fabro and Alexander Carrier. The show will air on Wednesdays throughout the hockey season from 6 to 7 with Preds players, former players, and other special guests. You can watch the show via 1025 The Game's Twitch, Facebook page, YouTube, and Twitter. Be sure to join us this hockey season for Smashville Live. Stillman & Company, it's ESPN 1025 The Game.
This is Ellie Tolvanen, and this is Nashville.
Tolvanen to score! Ellie Tolvanen, a laser!
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 1025 The Game.
Even with the national supply shortage, Hi-Fi Buys retail store stocked up months ago for this week's 44th anniversary. We have a huge in-stock selection of 4 and 8K TVs, projectors, speakers, soundbars, subwoofers, streaming players, and more. And because we planned ahead for this event, we made special purchases before most manufacturer prices increased. Now, we're passing those savings on to you. Let's talk TVs. We have nearly every Sony TV in stock, plus great prices on Samsung, LG, Sierra. Some year-end models we're practically giving away. Do not wait. Shop for the holidays now. Shortages are happening and prices are going up. Get the best for less now. At Hi-Fi Buys, when we have a sale, it's a real deal. Just the very best quality for the very best price. Some sale prices can't be displayed. See sales associate for your special price. Get over to Hi-Fi Buys 44th anniversary sale. This week only. This sale will not be extended. Hi-Fi Buys. See us on Nolensville Road or HiFiBuysNashville.com.
Custom division, special order manufacturers that prohibit discounting excluded.
Genesis Diamonds is gearing up for their biggest and last sale, November 5th, 6th, and 7th. It's an extra special event with savings of 20, 25, even up to 35%. Store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, nothing's held back for this once-a-year, 3-day extravaganza. Acclaimed designers will be flying in with expanded collections and exceptional pricing. Plus, get 0% interest financing. The final store-wide sale of the year with discounts up to 35%. Get first pick on top gifts for the holidays, November 5th through 7th only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
When Genesis Diamonds has a sale, you know it's the real deal. And it's happening November 5th, 6th, and 7th. Our final store-wide sale of the year with deep discounts up to 35% off. This is the big one. The one where the staff knows they can break all the rules. Plus, the selection is nearly doubled with designers flying in their entire collections, all of it on sale. This is the last and best jewelry buying opportunity of the year. Save up to 35%, zero interest financing. November 5th, 6th, and 7th only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
Got chronic joint pain? Not having success with steroids, but trying to avoid surgery? Well, thankfully, there's a better way. And now it's available here from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Hey, Willie Donick here. I'm talking about new therapies. Advanced, all-natural, regenerative treatments that can not only just give you relief, but can also restore and repair damaged tissue so you can have lasting relief. If you've got joint pain due to arthritis, knee pain, hip pain, shoulder pain, don't just think the old ways of dealing with pain are the only ways. You need to learn more about these new biologic therapy solutions. Call now for a free consultation. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. These remarkable new treatments increase mobility, decrease pain, and help restore tissue. They actually encourage your body to heal itself. Call now and learn more about these restorative, regenerative, and revolutionary alternatives. Don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024.
Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey is the official whiskey of the NFL pregame broadcast on ESPN 1025 The Game. Screwball is the original and most awarded peanut butter whiskey in the world. Made with real whiskey, peanuts, and peanut butter, Screwball is all natural flavor to be enjoyed as a straight shot, in an espresso martini, peanut butter old fashioned, or a PB&J shot with a berry liqueur. Check out screwballwhiskey.com/recipes for more. Be sure and ask for Screwball by name at your favorite watering hole in Nashville.
Enjoy responsibly. 2021 Screwball Spirits LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Hey Nashville, Vanderbilt football coach Clark Lee here, inviting you to tune in on ESPN 94.9 every Monday at 6 p.m. for the Commodore Hour, providing you with exclusive insights on Vanderbilt athletics.
Hey, this is Matthias Ekholm. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Yossi sweeps it on over. Now Gronlund turns on the right board, comes back to the point. Fed to Yossi, more room left side. Out in front, the shot to score! Philip Forsberg finishes the play from the high slot. 2-0 Nashville.
I thought we played pretty well for 60. They're a pretty good team. They got a lot of skill, obviously a lot of young guys that are coming up and making a difference for them. And I thought we stayed with it. We played hard defensively, especially around their net. I mean, they're shooting a lot for those tips and stuff like that. So I thought our net front's defense was good, and thought we could have scored a little bit. Yeah, a couple more. We had a lot of chances that we have to capitalize on, kind of put the game away. But overall, a pretty good effort.
Philip Forsberg last night. Predators are balling 2 in a row. And I will say this. Duchesne's playing pretty well. Johansson's playing pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's early. We've seen them in spurts play pretty well.
Johansson had a great game against Minnesota.
Great game, 2 goals against Minnesota. Saros is playing well in net. I mean, look, I know it's
Connor
early.
Ingram had a great game.
I know it's early, and so I don't make one thing or another or whatever, but it was a nice win last night for the Predators. The Sharks have been hot starting the season. They got a nice win. I think that, 2 wins in a row, I like it.
Yeah.
I think Tomasino's been playing pretty well. I think Tolvanen has not been playing pretty well, but had an okay game last night. I mean,
kind of a spooky injury, too.
Yeah. But I do kind of feel, I kind of feel like this is what I expected for the Predators. And yesterday there was a big headline in last night's game that the sellout streak of 192 games, going all the way back, I believe, to like 2015, that the sellout streak is done. That they didn't sell all the tickets to the games. And Gentry Estes wrote a really interesting column in the Tennessean about this that I thought was pretty interesting, which was kind of, okay, now people are going to come up with their reasons as to why, and it's going to be about the vaccine mandate or the COVID tests, and that people are going to sit there and yell about it, and they're going to turn this argument of, see, your business is down and you, and, it's going to turn into that.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I have a different opinion on this, of the sellout streak being over with the Predators. In life, sometimes it's really painful. You have to sacrifice things you really care about or things you take a lot of pride in to get yourself where you need to go. And it sucks. Whenever it is, whatever it is that you've got to do, whatever you've got to sacrifice, it's tough. And I think this is the byproduct of the competitive rebuild that the Predators were talking about, which was they wanted to put out a fun, entertaining team on the ice that would win enough games to get people to buy tickets for them to be fully invested in this season and kind of keep it going and maybe make the playoffs, but develop the young guys at the same time and have a good team and get the wave of the future started. And that's lollipop land. That's fairy tale island. That's why when David Poile said competitive rebuild this summer, everybody was like, guffaw. Like, what does that mean? Because it's not realistic. So when they put the young guys out there this year, and I appreciated it, that they were putting out there Cody Glass early or Novak or Tomasino. And I lost my mind when they put Tomasino on the bench. I want to see Tolvanen. I want to see Carrier and Fabro. I don't need to see Ben Harper. I know he stinks. But when you do that, you're probably going to lose some games. Think about all the rookie quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Trevor Lawrence, losing. Zach Wilson, before he got hurt, losing. Mac Jones, losing. Justin Fields, losing. Trey Lance, before he got hurt, losing. You often don't win with a rookie quarterback in the NFL. Joe Burrow might be the MVP this year. But guess what he did last year? Lost.
Also got hurt.
But he was losing a lot, except for the Titans. Mm-hmm. He was losing a lot last year.
He was, yes.
But he lost. And that's what happens. That's the natural. But when you lose, people don't want to come like they did before. And I get it. This is not the President's Trophy team that also happens to be the defending Western Conference champions. Doesn't mean that they can't get hot through the year. Doesn't mean that these young guys can't be the next coming and that next year and the year after that, they're a good team. All of that's possible. But this is what they needed to do. And I don't think it's one thing that led to the end of the sellout streak. I don't think it was the fact that the Predators last year had kind of a disappointing season until the very end and started this year off on a little bit of a disappointing early note. I don't think that's an accident. I think that's part of it. Just like I think the vaccine mandate or the COVID test mandate, or because that's really what it is. I think that probably did turn off a percentage of the fans. I don't know what percentage, but I do think there are some people that are like, I'm not going to another game, and that actually meant it. Like, I'm sure that exists. So that's part of it. It's also a Tuesday night when the World Series is on, and not a local team, but a semi-local team is in it. So there's going to be a lot of interest. In fact, they almost share the same television channel. Like, a lot of people wanted to watch the World Series last night. I mean, I know this. I didn't go to the game last night. I wanted to watch the World Series, and that's no disrespect to the Predators. But I think ultimately, like, they really valued that streak. Like, they looked at the fact that in a non-traditional market, they could sell out almost 200 games in a row. And they could pack that building, and I know they did because I was there when it was packed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, it's like they say, all good things come to an end. But I don't think this is like, I think there are people that are probably celebrating today that are like, hey, remember the vaccine stuff? Yeah, I said it's all your fault because you put in the vaccine stuff and now you lose your sellout streak. Ha, ha, ha. I don't buy that. I think there's a lot of factors at play as to why last night's game didn't get sold out. 30 minutes pushed back on start time. Not a sexy opponent, the San Jose Sharks. It's a lot of things. And so I'm not upset that this streak was over. Now, I don't own the team, and thus it doesn't affect my bottom line if they sell all the tickets or don't sell all the tickets. But I ultimately think that this sellout streak is something that they probably needed to sacrifice in order to get the franchise back to where it needs to be. And the way they're going to get back to where they need to be is by investing in young players. And when you invest in young players, you will lose games. I have been a strong proponent for selling at each of the last two trade deadlines. That would have meant sending off Craig Smith and Mikhail Granlund in 2020. That would have meant sending off Mikhail Granlund last year and Eric Halla and Nick Cousins and Kalle Järnkrok. And I would have sent all those guys off. And we would have lost games if that was my team, because we probably wouldn't have made the playoffs last year if Mikhail Granlund, if I had traded him. But I was okay with that. But you could tell they wanted to fill the building for the playoffs. They wanted to go to the playoffs, and they did. But I think ultimately, big picture for the fan base and for the franchise, that wasn't the right move. And I was very against it even when it happened. And you got all the texts and we got all the calls. No, Jared, we got to make the playoffs. Anything can happen. Anybody can beat anybody, and we've seen it. Okay. But I think ultimately, for you to get where you want to be, I'm not saying you got to tank. I'm not saying you got to get the number one pick and you got to draft the next Sidney Crosby or Connor McDavid and you got to go from there. But I do think that you've got to invest in young players. You got to get more young players, more quality young players, which you get by trading off veterans at the deadline or adding draft picks and then turning those draft picks into players. Anders Lindback, for example, was a backup goalie who the Predators traded. They got 2 picks out of it. They became Pontus Aberg and Colton Sissons, who were both a part of the Cup final team. Those are the kind of trades I'm looking for. But that's not sexy to selling tickets. So to me, that's why the sellout streak ended, and I'm not. I think that that's a big part of it. I do think there are some people that are, anti-vaccine or whatever that don't want to go, so okay. And I think there's that. And I think that, Tuesday night, 7:30 against San Jose is just not the same. During the World Series when the Atlanta Braves are in it, I think is also another factor. The Titans might be the best team in the AFC. They have the best player maybe in the game, and they can't sell out. So I'm not I don't look at this as like a pumping of the chest of like, hey, the Predators screwed up and this is great, ha. But I also don't look at it like it's this terrible thing that happened to the Predators, because I don't think that's the case. I think it's the natural cycle of sports.
I don't think that is the case at all, and I'm not in the Predators organization, but I would have to think that maybe the people in the Predators organization aren't necessarily, hitting the emergency button quite yet. Yes, that's such an impressive streak, especially like you mentioned, being in a traditionally football-heavy market, not a hockey market. And I do think that maybe some of the vaccine things come into play here, but I don't think that it's a coincidence that the first game that the Predators don't sell out happens to fall in Game 1 of the World Series and the Atlanta Braves are in it.
By the way, speaking of that, remember all the people in April and May that were like, I'm done with baseball. I'm done. Baseball, they moved the All-Star game. I'm done. I just saw Clay Travis tweet out that President Trump, who was done with baseball, is going to Game 4 on Sunday.
Interesting.
But Saturday. I thought everybody was done with baseball. Oh, they're not. So the people that are like vaccine, I'm done. You're not going to get my.
And some people might be, and that's fine. That's their prerogative.
Get to the Western Conference Final, and I bet they're coming back.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that, if it was purely a vaccine thing, if there were so many Predators fans in this city that were so against the Predators or the Bridgestone Arena's
I think
rule,
that not winning,
it would have been Game 1
not
at
winning
Bridgestone.
is a lot bigger than vaccines.
Yes.
As far as why they didn't sell out.
If that was the issue, it would have been the first game at home at Bridgestone was where the sellout streak would have snapped.
Done with baseball. I'm done. Major League Baseball. I'm done. Everybody was done, and now all of a sudden everybody's enjoying Major League Baseball again. I was just shocked.
Which is good. Major League Baseball is fun. Enjoy it.
Yeah, but this was never a show that said we were giving up on baseball.
That's true.
We were never
anti-baseball.
Do you know what my favorite part about that all that was?
What?
So when that happened, like Fox News went on this like launch against baseball. Major League Baseball, they are woke. They are terrible. They moved the All-Star game. I'm not watching. And then it was like they'd go to commercial and it's like, the All-Star game on Fox. It's like, dude, you guys. And I do wonder after like, okay, hey, you guys had 3 days of ragging on baseball. You got out of your system. And I think the Fox boss was like, all right, Joe Buck is mad. No more crapping on the All-Star game, everybody. Get back to it.
Ready break.
Yeah, everybody get back to it. 615-737-1025. We'll hit some headlines with Caroline, and we'll do that next. Stillman and Company, it's ESPN 1025 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. High temperature this afternoon, 68 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Winds will be picking up with storms moving in after midnight, and those are with us for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
COVID hospitalizations of young people have tripled since summer. Talk to your doctor for vaccine questions. We can do this. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Are you tired of living with chronic pain, knee pain, joint pain? Listen carefully, because now there are new treatments available here. Not talking surgery or steroids. These are regenerative treatments from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Willie Donick here. QC Kinetics is the leader in these exciting biologic therapies that help restore and repair damaged tissue in your joints with lasting results. So if you've got pain in your knees, shoulders, hip, or back, joint pain that won't go away, you need to check out these new treatments with astonishing patient satisfaction reports. They can actually help your body restore and repair itself with no downtime, no drugs, and no surgery. So call now to schedule your free consultation at QC Kinetics. 615-249-4024. Tired of dealing with joint pain and want to get moving again? You need to learn more about how biologic therapies are changing the way we think about dealing with joint pain. It's exciting stuff, so don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024.
Hey, it's Jared. Your body needs water. That doesn't mean it has to be boring. And I'm here to tell you to give Focus a try. Focus is a sparkling water with a spark. It's infused with a boost of natural tea caffeine, so you get clean energy without sugar, calories, or crash. Go to drinkfocus.com to find the full lineup of flavors and get them delivered right to your door. Enter promo code GAME at checkout for 15% off your first order. Focus is also available at your local Publix That's Focus, P-H-O-C-U-S, on the web at drinkfocus.com.
Are you interested in starting your own business? Join the Blink Law Entrepreneur Summit on February 2nd for their one-day event to help anyone start a business. Not only will you hear from experienced entrepreneurs from a variety of fields, but all attendees will also get a one-on-one consultation with an attorney who will register your business. You will leave the event with certified documents and an officially registered business. This is a great opportunity for anyone who wants to jumpstart a new business. For more information and to register, go to facebook.com/BlinkLawLLC.
The 1025 The Game text line is driven by Wilson County Hyundai. Online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Be a part of the conversation by calling or texting us at 615-737-1025.
Darren McFarland.
He's cool. He's got a personality, and they make fun of him.
Willie Donick.
With this being a fun guy to come to work and hang around with all day.
Chase McCabe.
They're just like, hey, we need you to play yourself.
Darren, Donick, and Chase have you covered weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Curation CBD on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This is Stillman and Company, delivered by TriStar Moving.
Stillman and Company play silly underdog picks today. Pick 3 football underdog teams you think will win this week for a chance to win. Go to thegamenashville.com for more details and to play silly underdog picks brought to you by Volunteer Hose and Gasket. Time now for headlines with Caroline.
We're spanning the sports world. It's Headlines with Caroline on Stillman and Company, right here on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Headlines with Caroline, presented by Firo Tequila, the spiciest infused tequila on the market. The world belongs to the Brave.
Speaking of the Braves, the Braves' tomahawk chop gesture for some time now has kind of been a point of contention that it's offensive to the Native American community. Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred is deferring to the Native American community in and around Atlanta on whether it is appropriate or not for the Braves to be encouraging the tomahawk chop gesture when the World Series goes back to Atlanta for games 3 through 5 this weekend. It's been in the news a lot recently, especially because of the Braves' success over the past couple of months. But Rob Manfred says it's important to understand that we have 30 markets around the country. They're not all the same. The Braves have done a phenomenal job with the Native American community. Native Americans around Atlanta are wholly supportive of the Braves program, including the tomahawk chop. For me, that's the end of story. But the National Council of American Indians has called for the franchise to drop the chop as well as the team nickname.
So I'm just going to say this. I don't consider myself to be an overly conservative person when it comes to cancel culture and stuff like that. But I also don't have a problem with the name Braves. I'm not Native American, so I guess maybe my vote doesn't count.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a problem with the name Redskins.
That's offensive.
I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I also have a problem with people that don full Indian or Native American wardrobes. I think that's pretty over the top, and I don't like it. But I don't have a problem with the name Braves. Maybe I don't have a problem with the name Braves because I'm biased. But there's not a Braves tribe. There's not the logo really has nothing now to do with any Native American stereotypes like it used to in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Which were, I think, probably poor. But I understand that people think it's racist, and once somebody thinks it's racist, then there's no way to convince them that it's not.
Mm-hmm.
When I sent out the tweet about Deshaun Watson wearing a hoodie at the national championship game and not wearing, dressing nicer.
Yeah.
Once all those cancel culture people on Twitter, the Dan Patrick Show and everything else, were all like, oh, yeah, he's racist. There's nothing that I could do at that point to say, that was not racist.
Because you can say, hey, I'm not racist, and people will say liar.
See, that makes you more
you
racist.
Are. Yeah.
But I do not find the name Braves to be racist. So I don't have a problem with it. Though I'm not sure Manfred is the one that should be speaking on this because it seems like every time he opens his mouth on stuff like this, he ends up sticking his foot in it.
Well, he did say when someone asked, okay, the The National Council of American Indians has said they don't appreciate it. Someone asked Rob Manfred, if it ever came time, would you ever reevaluate the name? And he said, ours is an everyday game. You have to sell tickets every single day to fans in that market. And there are all sorts of differences among the clubs, among the regions, as to how the game is marketed. And I know a lot of people were very enraged at the fact that Rob Manfred was putting marketing over possibly offending other people.
Yeah, I first of all think it's stupid to say that you don't market the game nationally. Most of your money comes from national TV.
If you don't market the game nationally, then that's your biggest problem right now.
Which is a problem.
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of weird to say, but it's almost like Rob Manfred said something that probably a lot of people know, but people don't really say out loud, which is,
But
hey,
he said it out loud.
you know, some places feel like that's racist and some places don't. And they don't think it's racist, so it's not racist, which
Any
is
more
basically
questions?
what he said.
Yes.
I looked at this like when the national came out and said, we will stand with any player who takes a knee for the national anthem. You do realize, like, Woody Johnson was such a big donor to Trump that he was the ambassador to the United Kingdom. And his brother, who's running the team while he's gone, says, we will stand with anyone who kneels. Why? Because his fan base in New York probably feels like the players should be allowed to kneel. Jed York, who owns the 49ers, we stand with the players. Jerry Jones in Texas says, if you're going to be a Cowboy, you're going to stand for the flag. And I was like, oh, my God, this is so obvious. Like,
yeah.
It's like that's why everybody else, like, stayed out of it.
Just don't say anything.
I don't know. I think Jimmy Haslam, right? Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Browns, I think he stayed out of it because he didn't want any part of this discussion now.
Because at that point, in a city like Cleveland that isn't necessarily one side or another definitively, you instantly, ostracize 50% of your fan base, essentially.
Right. And so, to me, I think we've already known that for a while, that people feel differently about different things across the country.
And that's okay. People can think differently.
Maybe Manfred shouldn't have said it like that
Yes.
because the way he said it was
It
just
felt
all
disingenuous.
bad. Well, it just felt dumb.
Yeah.
It felt dumb to be like, well, racism is okay over there because that's how they feel. Like,
because that's marketing.
Don't say that. What's next?
Sticking on a Braves topic, really tough scene last night for Charlie Morton, starting pitcher for the Braves last night. Fractured his fibula in their win against the Astros last night. He was kind of walking funny, experiencing some pain in his leg after striking out 2 batters. I mean, which is kind of pretty cool on its own, striking out 2 batters when you're experiencing a ton of pain in your leg. He underwent an initial x-ray. X-ray said everything was fine. He started throwing against a net, said he felt fine enough to continue pitching as long as he just didn't run. And then he had a sharp curveball to Jose Altuve, perfectly in the strike zone. And after that was just about it. He got another x-ray, and that did reveal a fractured right fibula. So obviously done for the season, but tough that the Braves will miss him for the rest of the World Series.
You know what was incredible to me about that last night?
What?
The fact that his adrenaline allowed him to pitch through a broken leg for the rest of the inning, to go sit down, get back up, and pitch until finally I think the adrenaline wore off.
And it was like, okay,
and he's like, I cannot pitch on this leg.
And then walked off the field.
On a broken leg.
And struck out 3 guys on a broken leg.
I thought that was pretty incredible. I think
Pretty
if the
cool.
Braves win the World Series, I think this is going to be something people are going to talk about for a long time. And they should. But it's as far as the series is concerned, it's a major blow for the Braves.
Yeah.
What's next?
ESPN's Dan Graziano released a list of observations from Week 8 and judged whether they were overreactions or kind of fair to say. So he did have something to say about the Titans. The statement was, are the Titans Super Bowl contenders? To which he said, not an overreaction. Dan Graziano says, how could it be an overreaction after a week in which they beat the Bills and the Chiefs? Kansas City is the 2-time defending AFC champion, and Buffalo opened the season as a lot of people's favorite to unseat the Chiefs. He says one of the many things that this means is that should the Titans end up tied with either Buffalo or Kansas City for the top seed in the lone bye in the AFC playoffs, they would get that top seed by virtue of a tiebreaker. Bigger picture, though, it means that they can play with and beat anyone in the conference.
So I'm not there. I mean, I think the Titans should be mentioned amongst everybody else.
Yeah.
I
mean,
think
you beat the
Titan
Bills and the Chiefs, and I think that you should be named up there.
I think Titan fans have done a really good job of holding themselves back from talking about Super Bowl and Super Bowl contention. Now, we talk about playoffs, and we talk about the seedings in the AFC and how that could affect, But I don't think we've had a lot of crazy callers or a lot of crazy texters. And I know this isn't like a homer show, but I think we've really – I don't feel the sense from the fans that they're getting too far ahead of themselves, which I think is a good step in the right direction for the fans. I don't completely agree with Graziano that we can sit here and say, like, oh, yeah, Titans, Super Bowl contenders, ding. But I do think that winning those games is important.
Do you think that that is easier to say on the outside looking in? Because if there was any other team in the AFC that just beat the Bills and the Chiefs, you'd probably be afraid of them.
Sure, because they can just dump you as soon as they pick you up.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's easy for them to say.
Those are headlines with Caroline, presented by Fiero Tequila, the spiciest infused tequila on the market. Fiero Tequila, the world belongs to the brave. Coming up next, ESPN's NFL Power Rankings are out. Interesting where they have the Titans. What do we think of that? Plus, we'll get to your texts on the Titans. I know we have a lot. We will do that coming up here on Stillman and Company. FanDuel Sportsbook is my official sportsbook app. NFL Week 8 continues this Sunday, and FanDuel Sportsbook wants you to get the most out of every play. That's why they're giving everyone a $10 risk-free bet every single week. All you have to do is bet a same-game parlay bet with 3 legs or more, and if your bet doesn't win, FanDuel will pay you back up to $10. Big game this week, Titans and Colts, and I'd be taking a look at home team points, away team points, Wentz money line, Wentz over-under passing yards, and much more. There's no feeling like nailing a same-game parlay bet, so lock in yours today. If you're new to FanDuel, sign up with the promo code JGM to also receive 25-1 enhanced odds on any touchdown during Sunday night between Dallas and Minnesota. You can win $125 on a $5 bet. That's promo code JGM so they know that I sent you. 21 and older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $10. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Same-game parlay available for multiple sports in all states on mobile and web. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
The MTSU Blue Raiders live here.
Touchdown, Middle Tennessee! 3-ball, yes, sir!
And when you're in the borough, tune us in on 97.5.
In the end zone, caught, touchdown!
We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Hey Nashville, we think you deserve the very best driving experience, and now is the time for our Season of Change CPO event at Mercedes-Benz of Music City. When you purchase a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz, you're backed by the remaining new vehicle limited warranty. Once that expires, the certified pre-owned limited warranty goes into effect, providing an additional 12 months of coverage with unlimited miles. See all the perks and exceptional offers for your certified pre-owned vehicle from Mercedes-Benz of Music City, mbofmc.com.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 429, has a path to a dignified career. Are you a skilled electrician or lineman? Tired of dead-end, low-paying jobs? Local 429 is accepting applications for highly skilled electricians and linemen and is providing the best training in Middle Tennessee. They are the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 429. Call them at 615-889-4429 or go online to ibew429.org. IBEW Local 429, the best training and training the best.
Got chronic joint pain? Not having success with steroids, but trying to avoid surgery? Well, thankfully, there's a better way. And now it's available here from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Hey, Willie Donick here. I'm talking about new therapies. Advanced, all-natural, regenerative treatments that can not only just give you relief, but can also restore and repair damaged tissue so you can have lasting relief. If you've got joint pain due to arthritis, knee pain, hip pain, shoulder pain, don't just think the old ways of dealing with pain are the only ways. You need to learn more about these new biologic therapy solutions. Call now for a free consultation. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. These remarkable new treatments increase mobility, decrease pain, and help restore tissue. They actually encourage your body to heal itself. Call now and learn more about these restorative, regenerative, and revolutionary alternatives. Don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024.
Halloween is here, and that means scary low prices at Electronic Express. Save big on the best 4K TVs from Samsung, LG, Sony, Hisense, TCL, and more. Keep an eye on your kids and your home with smart security from Ring, Arlo, and Night Owl. Appliances are covered with up to 50% off, in stock, and ready to deliver with up to 36 months free financing. Get spooky low prices this Halloween at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT-FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman & Company is delivered by TriStar Moving. ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Jared versus Joe in 1 hour. Jason Fitz later this hour. And I think the one question, we talked about Dan Graziano saying Titans are Super Bowl contenders right now. But I'll say this, it is very easy for somebody who has no skin in the game on national television to go on and say Super Bowl contenders. Like, let me ask this question. How many teams would you consider Super Bowl contenders right now?
Ooh, I would say 6.
Well, just give me the teams.
Arizona.
Okay.
Green Bay.
Okay.
The Rams.
3.
The Titans.
4.
The Bills.
5.
The Ravens.
6.
Tampa.
Duh.
7.
I don't know.
Bengals.
I'll throw them in there.
8. So you got 8 teams as Super Bowl contenders. Like, there's 8 teams. Like, that's like, if the Titans get to the final 8, which is the divisional round of the playoffs, I think we'll not be very happy about that.
And I think we named even 4 and 4 NFC AFC teams.
Yes.
Maybe 3 and 5.
Yes. So the ESPN power ranking, Dallas.
Yeah. Oh, yes. 9.
Okay. Chargers.
Throw the Chargers in there. Are we throwing the Raiders in there?
It's your team.
Throw them in there. Why are the Raiders my team?
So you just picked, they're your contenders.
Okay. Yes. Throw Oakland in there.
So that's 10.
Oakland. Las Vegas.
That's 10.
Yeah.
Okay. So almost a third of the league.
Yes.
that you have as, like, legitimately Super Bowl contenders.
Well, we're going into week 8.
So
I feel like cutting it down by 2/3 is pretty fair this early in the season.
ESPN has their new power rankings out. Arizona is number 1, Tampa Bay 2, the Rams 3, the Packers 4. The Titans check in at 9 on the power rankings. They are the 4th highest ranked AFC team. Buffalo is at 5. Cincinnati is at 7. Baltimore is at 8. Tennessee is at 9. Now, I think this is simply putting the Bengals, who I defended yesterday, I think this is simply putting the Bengals ahead of the Ravens because the Bengals embarrassed the Ravens. So if you're going to put them ahead of the Ravens and you're going to put the Ravens ahead of the Titans, then because this is simple mathematics, you have to put the Bengals ahead of the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think if we went to everybody at ESPN and said, okay, Titans or Bengals, who are you taking? I don't think they would take the Bengals.
I don't know, though. I think they might because I think that there's a lot of, recency bias that goes on in the national media, which is fine.
By 1 week?
Yeah.
Like, you just embarrassed the Kansas City Chiefs, who those people that rank this stuff love the Chiefs, or have loved the Chiefs until now. But you beat the Buffalo Bills.
I think a lot of the conversation about that game, though, in the national media is it was more of the Chiefs being bad rather than the Titans being good. I don't agree with that logic, but I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Do you think Titans or Bengals right now, neutral field?
Titans.
Ian, Titans or Bengals, neutral field?
I guess neutral field, I'll lean Titans.
See, I think I would take the Bengals. But the only reason I would is, and I don't want to sound like Vrabel, but I mean, if their kicker makes one of those kicks, they beat the Packers.
But also, if their kicker doesn't make one of those kicks, they lose to the Jaguars.
Okay, that's fair. It's a very fair point you make.
Thank you. So it's tricky.
I mean, Joe Burrow is playing very well, and that offense.
Yeah, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase playing very well.
Is legit. They have some weapons. I mean, they have 3 good receivers, a good running back, a decent tight end. Their offense is for real. I don't know as much about their defense, although their numbers are good.
I mean, the whole key to the game would be, could the Titans' defensive line get to the quarterback?
Yeah.
Like, that's the name of the game here. Do you have a problem with the Titans being ranked 9th behind all the NFC contenders and ranked behind the Ravens and the Bengals, even though the Titans currently are the 3rd best team in the AFC? And when the schedule, and I don't know how you power rank. Do you power rank like they would beat them, or do you power rank like who's going to be there in the end? Because I still think Buffalo and the Titans have such favorable schedules that you'd have to put them in ahead of Baltimore or Cincinnati.
Right, because Cincinnati has such a difficult schedule moving forward. So to answer your question, 9 feels low for a team that just beat what we thought were going to be the 2 best teams in the AFC going into this season. It feels low, but when you break it down, it really just kind of makes sense. Of course, the Bengals are going to be ranked above the Ravens because they just beat the Ravens. And the Ravens are going to then be ranked above the Titans. I think the Titans being the 4th ranked team in the AFC, the power rankings. It feels low, but I don't have a problem with it. I don't think the Titans are getting robbed in these power rankings. And the NFC has proven itself to look like the better conference.
Would you take the Titans over any of those NFC teams?
I don't know. Not taking the Titans over the Packers. I'm not taking the Titans over the Bucks. Obviously not taking the Titans over the Cardinals. They already lost to the Cardinals. Not taking the Titans over the Rams. So no.
Cowboys,
it'd be tricky, but I think I would take the Cowboys.
Now, America would take the Cowboys.
Well, yes.
I think I'd take the Titans over the Cowboys.
Why?
Because I think, the Dallas Cowboys can't stop Derrick Henry. I don't think they can. And so they've got all these receivers.
But can the Titans stop Dak?
I think the Titans can do what they did to Buffalo, where they kind of kept them inside the red zone. Mm-hmm. I think they could do that. I don't think there's anything that Dallas has that Buffalo doesn't.
I think it could be the same kind of situation as,
people will say Dallas has a
10
running game,
times.
but, Zeke is average now. Zeke is not a superstar.
Zeke isn't what Zeke used to be.
Yeah, Zeke's not that. When the Cowboys win, Dak throws for 400 yards, which is exactly how the Bills win. And so I'm not a huge, and also I think the coach for the Cowboys is awful.
But I also think that Zeke is going to be a bigger threat if the Cowboys or the Bills defer than Devin Singletary. If they have to defer to the running game, I would say Zeke is a bigger threat than Devin Singletary.
So I hear you. I just have a hard time getting there. I have a hard time. I look at this and I think all the talk about where the Titans belong in the AFC, which we spent a lot of time doing yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
I think for me and for Titan fans, talk to me after the Colts game. Yeah. After the Colts game, then I think I start caring about what all those other teams do, what Cincinnati does, what the Chargers do, what Buffalo does, because I do think if you win, Chris Sanders said it on the show, and he's a former player, and he said, they know the division's on the line Sunday. Both teams know. Mm-hmm. You win on Sunday, now I think we can start talking about Buffalo. And I can go back to that story I was telling yesterday when it was 2002. The Titans were the 3 seed in the AFC. They needed Pittsburgh to lose. Pittsburgh, coached by Bill Cowher. Jerome Bettis was the running back. Pittsburgh was playing at Cincinnati. I think this was the second to last game of the year. The Titans had a 3:30 kick. That was a noon game. Everybody, and it was cold, everybody was inside the club level, jammed in there, watching the end of the Steelers-Bengals games on the 5-inch televisions that they have in there. And when the 4th down pass for the Steelers went incomplete, I just remember a roar inside the club level. And everybody high-fiving each other and everything else. I remember that. And that's what this becomes. We haven't had that around here because the team that made the playoffs in Mike Mularkey's year, they had to get in on the last day of the season. They had to beat Jacksonville in order to get in. The AFC Championship game team had to beat Houston to get in the last day of the year. Last year's team had to beat Houston in order to get the division, and there was like a little scoreboard watching with Miami at the end, but it wasn't like number one seed type stuff. And I just feel like it's a completely different ball game when you get there. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. I do think 9th is probably about right. And people are going to have a hard time letting go of that Jets loss. We'll get to your phones next. Plus, I do have a thought. It's something that the national media keeps saying about the Titans that keeps driving me nuts. We'll talk about that next, and your phones. Stillman and Company on ESPN 102.5 The Game. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. My guys, you see that logo right there? Anytime you're at Bridgestone Arena, you see the Hiller logo almost everywhere. And you will absolutely love my friends at Hiller. They do a fantastic job, and they will take great care of your home. And they've got the happy you'll be or the service is free guarantee. You've noticed all the inventory shortages and empty shelves everywhere, and now there are serious shortages on equipment and products for your home. HVAC systems, tankless water heaters, and generators are going to be extremely limited in 2022. If you need a replacement, call my friends at Hiller today. Don't wait until you are out of options. Hiller has special financing available so you can buy now and pay nothing until next year. Hiller's work is backed by the Happy You'll Be or the Services Free Guarantee, and I know that because I've been pretty happy with my work with Hiller. Learn more at happyhiller.com.
Can he get in? He will! What a run! And a touchdown for Derrick Henry!
King Henry and the Titans are surging into a big Week 8 showdown at Indianapolis.
I challenge y'all, bro. Win every day, not just every game.
And we've got you covered all week long.
Trying to get the offense up to championship level.
All of this boils right into what the Titans want to do.
This is Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
COVID hospitalizations of young people have tripled since summer. Talk to your doctor for vaccine questions. We can do this. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Cast iron. Lift that cast iron. You're doing good.
Hey, hun. Sweetie.
Yeah, hun.
I need to make dinner. I need that pan.
You can't always do home workouts how you'd want, but now you can sip what you want. Heineken 0.0. It tastes great, only has 69 calories, and absolutely zero alcohol.
Well, here, lift these. 2 Heineken 0.0s.
Oh, right. Dumbbells I can drink. Sip. Zero.
Must be 21 plus to purchase. Enjoy responsibly.
More machines, more savings, and more muscle. Only with John Deere construction equipment from Meade Tractor. Hit the heavy jobs harder with our Own It offer and get special financing on select models. New, used, or rent. We have the right equipment and technology solution for you with the affordable financing you need. Contact us today at our Nashville location or go online at meadtractor.com.
Offer valid on qualified purchases and new equipment made between now through October 31st, 2021. Subject to approved installment credit with John Deere Financial for commercial use only. Down payment may be required. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Are you tired of living with chronic pain, knee pain, joint pain? Listen carefully, because now there are new treatments available here. Not talking surgery or steroids. These are regenerative treatments from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Willie Donick here. QC Kinetics is the leader in these exciting biologic therapies that help restore and repair damaged tissue in your joints with lasting results. So if you've got pain in your knees, shoulders, hip, or back, joint pain that won't go away, you need to check out these new treatments with astonishing patient satisfaction reports. They can actually help your body restore and repair itself with no downtime, no drugs, and no surgery. So call now to schedule your free consultation at QC Kinetics. 615-249-4024. Tired of dealing with joint pain and want to get moving again? You need to learn more about how biologic therapies are changing the way we think about dealing with joint pain. It's exciting stuff, so don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024.
A
Attention Nashville, 3-Day Blinds is here to solve your window treatment needs. 3-Day Blinds has more than 40 years of experience designing, installing, and manufacturing high-quality custom window treatments. We transform homes with custom blind shade shutters and drapery with expert in-home design consultations. Your 3-Day Blinds design consultant is with you every step of the way, including setting up your installation. Book your free in-home design consultation today at 3dayblinds.com. That's 3dayblinds.com.
Hey, Darren McFarland here, and let me tell you about my friends at Curation CBD. If you're like me and have aches and pains all over your body and you've been searching for a solution, well, I've got it. It's Curation CBD. Curation means healing, and that right there says it all. Curation is locally and organically sourced CBD products right here from Middle Tennessee. From seed to final sell, Curation is passionate about providing quality products for everyday use for athletes and for pets, too. Order yours now at CurationCompany.com. Curation CBD, curated for life.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Stillman and Company on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
Stillman and Company, let me tell all the fine folks. Listen to the MLB postseason on ESPN 102.5 The Game and ESPN 94.9, brought to you by 312 Pizza Company. Tonight, it's Game 2 of the World Series. Braves and Astros, first pitch 7:09. 312 Pizza Company in Germantown has pizza. Head to 312 Pizza Company to grab a bite, a beer, and watch some October baseball.
I believe they also have trivia at 312 Pizza Company.
Hey, you would know about the trivias.
I do.
That is not my forte, knowing
very
about
fun.
trivias. But anywho, since you complain about trivia all the time anyways. Anywho, so
don't you do this. Don't you dare.
There's one thing about the Titans that drives me insane with the national media. I tweeted about this yesterday. And there is a sense of the Titans. And I think Titan fans have this too. And it is, they lost to the Jets, but they beat the Bills and the Chiefs. Oh, man, they beat the Chiefs. They beat the Bills, but they lost to the Jets. You didn't have A.J. Brown in the Jets game. And I am not telling you that one injury should be an excuse to lose to a god-awful team like the Jets. But it's not the same. Derrick Henry is the best player on the team. If you went into a game without Derrick Henry and you lost, would you really look at it like, oh, yeah, we lost that game. We didn't have Derrick Henry.
But a team that's notoriously known as one of the worst teams in the league.
Seahawks, if they lost to the Jets, would you be shocked by it right now with Geno Smith, the quarterback?
I mean, kind of.
Like, I saw Mina Kimes yesterday.
The Jets!
I saw Mina Kimes yesterday go on television and say that Pete Carroll should be fired. And I was
wow.
I was like, okay.
Well, she's a Seahawks fan, so I think that's a little bit of a heart take as well.
Once I heard that, I said, I don't need to hear anything more from Mina Kimes. I know there's all these people out there that I don't watch Mina Kimes.
She's great.
There's all these people that are like, Mina Kimes is the future of football broadcasting. And I don't have one feeling.
She's wonderful.
Neutral. Like Todd Downing. I'm neutral. I'm not against her. I'm not for her. Then I heard her say on TV that Pete Carroll needs to be fired. And I said, okay, all right. I've heard enough from you. And I no longer need to hear anything that Mina Kimes has to say. Once you say something like that Pete Carroll should be fired.
You also love Pete Carroll.
Yeah, but even if I didn't like Pete Carroll, I don't think that Mike Tomlin needs to be fired or Sean Payton or Andy Reid.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick hasn't won in 2 years without Brady.
He shouldn't be fired.
Fire him. Like, what are we talking about? So once I hear you say something like that, I don't need to hear anything else you say. But right now, I look at the Seahawks and the losing, and I'm like, they don't have Russell Wilson. So I can't hold that on them. And I believe that Derrick Henry is that kind of player for your team, that he is your Russell Wilson. But I think
they had Derrick Henry.
I think that not valuing what A.J. Brown means to your team is why I don't jump with the narrative of, they can get up for the Jets, but not, or they can get up for the Bills and the Chiefs, but not up for the Jets. They do it again in a game A.J. Brown plays. Now I think there's something to discuss there. Let's go to your phones, as promised. 615-737-1025. You buy the narrative, I can already tell. You buy
of what?
That, they lose to the Jets, but they beat the Bills and the Chiefs.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's not a narrative. That's what happened.
No, but I'm just saying that I don't think that it was same old Titans losing to the Jets. I think.
No, I mean, they were without A.J. Brown and Julio Jones. They were without their top two pass catchers. I know that it was a very narrow loss. it's tough to say, to do revisionist history. I'm not completely sold on the idea that
I don't think
A.J.
they get sacked
Brown,
7 times if A.J. Brown's out there.
I'm with you on that. I don't think they get sacked 7 times. But I think at that point in the season, A.J. was dropping balls. A.J. obviously wasn't 100% healthy. If there was a 100% healthy A.J. Brown out there, I think it would be a different story. I'm just totally not sold on the idea that they would have beat the Chiefs if A.J. Brown was out there, because it's easy to say that after you beat the Bills and the Chiefs.
I have a text in my text line to tell you that I'm going to tell you.
Wait.
Oh, it's a doozy. Let's go.
Can I know who it's from?
You can make assumptions.
Okay.
Let's go to your text, 615-737-1025. Phone line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Go ahead.
One texter texts in and says, the serious threat to the Titans winning the division is a Tannehill injury. He is sitting behind the most porous offensive line in the NFL and to date has taken numerous sacks and serious hits. He is only 1 hit away from being out. The Colts know that vulnerability.
So, yes, but Tannehill hasn't missed a game. Tannehill hasn't missed a snap, of being your quarterback. And we love Steve McNair here. I've got a picture of Steve McNair on my wall at my house. I love Steve McNair. But when Steve McNair was your quarterback, he'd take the pops where Neil O'Donnell or Billy Volek, or they'd have to come in the game. They played a game at Dallas where Steve McNair got hit into the sidelines by Dexter Coakley, into the equipment truck and trunk, and McNair had to come out. Billy Volek had to play a big game against the Bills. Tannehill hasn't missed a snap. So, yeah, you're always 1 injury away. You're 1 injury away from Geno Smith being your starting quarterback in Seattle. Now you got the crooked finger. Now Geno Smith is your quarterback. Yes. But I think that that's always been the case. Is the line going to get Tannehill killed? So far, they haven't. So I don't think the line's going to get Tannehill killed. I think that injuries happen in football, but I think a non-contact injury is just as possible as a contact injury with Tannehill. Mm-hmm. And he got that one game against the Jets where they absolutely ripped his head off. But so far, Tannehill has been protected or has gotten the ball out fast enough over the last handful of games.
Also don't know if the Colts are going to come out headhunting for Tannehill.
I don't think you can do that against the Titans unless you've got edge rushers. Mm-hmm. Because if you do that going after the quarterback, they're going to throw a screen and Derrick Henry's going to run in the end zone for a touchdown. Mm-hmm. You can't all out blitz the Titans unless you get home. Because if you don't, it will be bad with AJ or Derrick or Jeremy McNichols. Or like that one with Jacksonville where 2 guys ran with 1 guy and he just threw it to Pruitt and he ran in the end zone for a touchdown. What's next?
Ron texts into the text line and says that in regards to the national media talking about the Titans, says, I understand getting respect from the NFL is important, but we need to first dominate the AFC South and earn the respect of just the AFC South. As a Titans fan, I feel we lost that, and that's why fans don't have faith in winning against the Colts. Titans need to control the South for at least 3 years to get that respect back.
You know what's funny? Dan Dockich does like how we do the text line. He does his YouTube chat, and he'll literally like read the YouTube and be like, I don't care what you think, Steel Rear End 47. I mean, Chris Ballard hadn't done a better job than Chuck Pagano did. Like, that's like what his show is. Like him just arguing, and it's a very successful show, but he like argues with the YouTube people. I may go on there on the Dan Dockett show and be like, should the Colt fans respect the Titans, and see what he and the rest of the YouTubers say before I get a feel of it. Because I do wonder. Like, Floyd used to tell me the story when he was in Detroit. They used to always think, like, oh, we're playing Minnesota, and it's just a matter of time until we screw it up. And then when he went to Minnesota, they were playing Detroit, and it was like, oh, we're playing Detroit this week. It's just a matter of time before they screw it up. I do wonder if the Colts fans feel that way. Where's Indy Ben? Indy Ben.
I hope he's okay.
Indy Ben.
I'm a little worried about him.
We need to know what you think on it.
We need like a bat signal for Indy Ben. Like you say, Carson Wentz sucks, and then Indy Ben comes out of nowhere.
It's like his horn, like, hey, Indy Ben, get back to work. Text into the text line there. Fitzy will join us next. What does he think about the Titans? Again, they think ESPN's power rankings think the Bengals are better than Titans. What does Fitz think? We'll do that coming up next here on Stillman and Company. Let me tell you all about Invigorate Health. That's right. I go to Invigorate Health, and I absolutely love it. I had my blood drawn. They checked all of my vitals, good kidney function, good testosterone. Guys in my gym were jealous of my testosterone, I'm just saying. But some people don't have that, and you need to get your levels checked, and you don't feel right. You've gained weight. You want to get back to how you used to feel. Invigorate Health, InvigorateHealthTN.com. They've got the new weight loss shot, semaglutide, which I had not heard of when they told me about it, and I thought maybe this was something like that was kind of a little crazy. They said, no, it's FDA approved. Their doctors were telling me it's safe. I talked to my doctor who said, oh, yeah, I've prescribed that to patients before, and it was even featured as a true help for obesity in Men's Health magazine. Their doctors broke it down. So they've got it. InvigorateHealthTN.com. Just give them a call. It's a very easygoing place. Their doctors, their nurses, they are fantastic. I'm going tomorrow to go play around with the M-Sculpt Neo. They've got it all. Fillers, Botox, IV therapy. InvigorateHealthTN.com. My guys, Invigorate Health.
Titans, Colts.
Who wants to talk football? Bring it on, Chuck. Let's go.
The Two-Tone Blues seeks an AFC South stranglehold. Tune in Sunday at 9:30 for NFL pregame with Jared Stillman, Chris Sanders, and Mark Howard.
We'll go inside the playbook. You better believe they're going to come out fired up.
These guys aren't used to covering a running back.
Live from Corner Pub in downtown, we are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel is one of Nashville's favorite places to dine, serving up their award-winning menu items again. Kitchen Notes is renowned for their Southern-inspired dishes with a contemporary twist. Their breakfast features the popular Music City omelets, sourdough pancakes, cast iron waffles, plus everyone knows that their Sunday brunches are the talk of the town. Lunch menu items include smoked prime rib, chicken hash, and the Kitchen Notes legendary shrimp and grits. Kitchen Notes is open Thursday through Sunday at 7 a.m. till 2 p.m.
Hey, this is Jared, the owner of MTGRT.com. If your mortgage rate is not in the twos, then you need to call me now. We are locking in clients in the twos with no closing costs. That's right, you heard it right. Locking in clients in the twos with no closing costs. Text me on my personal cell at 615-969-2257 or fill out a few pieces of information on our website, MTGRT.com. MTGRT.com is the proud sponsor of Paul Feinbaum, heard on 102.5 The Game and ESPN 94.9.
Got chronic joint pain? Not having success with steroids, but trying to avoid surgery? Well, thankfully, there's a better way. And now it's available here from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Hey, Willie Donick here. I'm talking about new therapies, advanced all-natural regenerative treatments that can not only just give you relief, but can also restore and repair damaged tissue so you can have lasting relief. If you've got joint pain due to arthritis, knee pain, hip pain, shoulder pain, don't just think the old ways of dealing with pain are the only ways. You need to learn more about these new biologic therapy solutions. Call now for a free consultation. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. These remarkable new treatments increase mobility, decrease pain, and help restore tissue. They actually encourage your body to heal itself. Call now and learn more about these restorative, regenerative, and revolutionary alternatives. Don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024.
Blood Assurance, the area's only nonprofit community blood center, announces the opening of their new blood center at 600A Fraser Drive in Cool Springs. Now Williamson County has a new, convenient, comfortable, state-of-the-art blood center for donors to give the gift of life. Blood Assurance centers are the only facilities in Middle Tennessee where all blood donated goes to help many of our area local hospitals. To view the center's hours and to make an appointment, visit bloodassurance.org/schedule. Give life, give blood, give local.
Here they come, turn 4.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe. Every Saturday morning at 9, we hit the big topics. The Ally 400, Kyle Busch, frustrated, Big Machine Music City Grand Prix, and talk to the big names.
I'll go ahead and blame you.
Oh, I think it's big.
Could go a lot of different directions right now.
I was so impressed.
How cool that's going to be.
It's Chasing Checkers, Saturday morning at 9 on ESPN 102.5 The Game and wherever you get your podcast.
Hey, this is Ryan Johansson. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Stillman and Company right here, ESPN 1025 The Game. 1025 The Game has your chance to win Preds tickets during the month of October. Just post a picture of your radio dial set to 1025 The Game on social media, Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Tag the game and use the hashtag TicketDash to be instantly qualified to win. Show us your dash, brought to you by Social Furniture. Support local. Support social. So we are soon to be talking to Jason Fitz. We're talking about ESPN's power rankings, how they have the Ravens one spot ahead of the Titans. Somebody texted me, and I think this is a pretty interesting element that I actually saw in live time, and said the Ravens were 2 fourth-down conversions and a 66-yard field goal on the final drive away from losing to the Lions. I saw that game on Red Zone. Like, as soon as the Titans beat the Colts, I flipped over to Red Zone, and I saw the play clock hit 0, and I'm screaming from my couch, delay a game, delay a game, delay a game, and they didn't call it, and the Ravens kicked the field goal, and the Ravens won the game where it hit the crossbar and then went over. They're clearly not getting that with an extra 5 yards. And I say this to say, nobody brings that up when they talk about the Ravens. Nobody brings up the fact that the Ravens just gift-wrapped the game to the Colts, and the Colts just couldn't make field goals. The Colts turned the football over. Like, nobody talked about that when it comes to some of the games they played and trying to rank these teams here or there. And I'm not trying to get into, like, the pure unadulterated whataboutism that I feel like our society has become. Instead of talking about my problems, I'm going to talk about your problems so that they marginalize my problems. But I do think that when we look at the Ravens this season, it's easy to say Lamar had a 400-yard game and they beat the Colts. Lamar had to have a 400-yard game because he fumbled and they committed a bunch of dumb penalties, and the Colts should have beat them, and they didn't. And I do look at that and saying, maybe the Bengals kind of exposed the Ravens. And the Ravens, as we talk about the AFC right now, don't belong in the discussion that we seem to be having. Now, they did kill the Chargers, but I do wonder if we put the Ravens under that microscope, how we would or should feel about them. Because you talk to Ravens fans, and it's like Lamar's the greatest who ever played, and anybody who questions the idea that Lamar Jackson can't win in the playoffs or isn't an elite passer is either dumb or racist.
Well, both of those things have some truth to them. But I think that...
So you're a racist if you don't think Lamar Jackson can win in the playoffs?
No, that he can't win in the playoffs and that he's not an elite passer.
Okay.
Those two things, not the latter two. But I think with the AFC this year, I think everyone's having a really hard time trying to figure out who is good. Because the good teams are losing to the bad teams, and the bad teams are beating the good teams, and then good teams are narrowly beating really bad teams, and teams that we thought were bad are blowing out good teams. The AFC is incredibly confusing. And I think that at this point in the season, when things are still so far up in the air, it's so difficult to try and figure out, okay, who's going to get a bye here? What are going to be the standings in 8 weeks, 9 weeks?
Yeah, whatever.
8, 9 weeks, whatever, how many weeks
2
there are
months.
into the playoffs. Yes. It's incredibly difficult because the AFC seems cannibalistic at this point.
Well, and not only that, I mean, even if, like, we've talked a lot about you in Buffalo and the schedules that you have, that could give you a false sense of security for either team.
For sure.
Where Buffalo can run through all these teams. And I felt like the 2008 Titans ran into this, where they started the season red hot. And down the stretch, they played a lot of subpar teams, and they were close games, and they kind of beat them, kind of didn't. But I just never felt like they were a great team. Now, they hosted Pittsburgh in like a winner-take-all kind of game, and they beat Pittsburgh, who ended up winning the Super Bowl that year. But it just never felt like it. It felt like they kind of hit it on cruise control because week in, week out, they weren't playing great teams. And I do fear that for Buffalo and for you.
We have our bat signal answered from Indy Ben.
Okay, you had a big smile, and I didn't know what your big smile was.
Yes,
Indianapolis Ben. So we had a texter that said that the Titans need to dominate the South before the Titans will get respect from the rest of the South, a.k.a. the Colts. And we said, what does Indy Ben think? What does Indy Ben think?
Indy Ben texted in and said, first of all, I apologize for the delay, but some days I get tired of trying to talk some sense into you when it comes to both the Colts and the Titans. As I said this morning on Robbie and Rex Road, this game will come down to coaching. Both teams have the horses on the field to win the game, unlike that crazy Titans homer who texted in earlier. Colts have a good amount of talent.
So I would say this. If it comes down to coaching, you win.
I mean,
you have the better coaching.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Vrabel is – Vrabel drives me nuts sometimes, but I don't think Vrabel's dumb. Like, I think Vrabel is –
No, he's not a dumb guy by any means.
I think my issues with Vrabel are managing the coaching staff more so than his coaching.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think Frank Reich does some questionable stuff. I mean, I think Frank Reich puts the ball in harm's way. I think he goes for it when he shouldn't. I think he's – and somehow people just think Frank Reich just – I
don't think he is a bad coach.
I thought Dan Dockich again. I thought
nice.
I was listening to him after they lost the Ravens game, and he was like, boy, I'll tell you, I love watching that Lamar Jackson play football. I mean, he's just great. I'll tell you what I don't like, watching Frank Reich coach. And I was like, hey, at least somebody will say it. Fitz joins us. Jason Fitz, ESPN Radio, brought to you by Blood Assurance. Give blood, give local, save lives. So, Fitzy, let's start with this. The Titans right now, wins over the Bills and the Chiefs. Titan fans, I don't think are getting too far ahead of themselves until they beat the Colts this weekend. How do you view the Titans?
So I'll be honest with you, not just because I'm on with you. I just did earlier today a couple of hours on the Raiders affiliate for their flagship station, Talking Raiders, right? And I decided to play this game of the College Football Playoff Committee meets the NFL. It's something I'm trying to get ESPN to do. The ESPN NFL Playoff Committee, right? I'm trying to get the company to do it. But in the meantime, my question is, who are the top 4 teams today? I said, who are the top 4 teams in the AFC? My playoff committee vote, if I had the top 4 teams in the AFC today, is using the same metrics as college football, would be the Titans. They have the worst loss because they lost to the Jets. There's no doubt about that. But they have the best wins with wins over the Chiefs and the Bills. And right now, by the dreaded eye test that we always talk about in college football, I'm not sure that there's an offense playing more unstoppable than the offense with Derrick Henry. So I look at the matchups across the board, and I'm saying, man, I think the Titans right now are the number 1 team in the AFC. Will they be by the end of the year? I don't know. But we knew that if that defense could hold up, that they would be near that list, and I think they're playing like it right now.
One thing I think has stood out to me in the Bills and the Chiefs game, and that's A.J. Brown, did not play against the Jets. And we were kind of kicking this back and forth. You should still beat the Jets without A.J. Brown. But I think that not highlighting his exit probably doesn't do justice what he's meant for both of these 2 games. Tannehill was just throwing the ball up on Sunday to A.J. Brown, and he was just going up and getting it. Now, we're still waiting for Julio Jones to be the Julio Jones that they traded for and gave up a second-round pick. But I do think that A.J. Brown right now maybe doesn't get the respect that he deserves, especially how well he played in the Buffalo game. What do you think of A.J. Brown's effect on all of this?
Yeah, I think you're right about that. And also, I keep going back to this thing that, I've been watching a lot of film over the last few weeks with Orlovsky and Mina Kimes because I think they're 2 of our smartest, and they break down things in such a smart way.
I'm already mad at Mina Kimes, Fitz. Don't be going there.
I didn't know you were mad at her. But one thing, and I haven't talked to her about the Titans specifically, but one thing that she talked about so much is bracketing. And, and it's something that Orlovsky and Ryan Clark talk a lot about too. Like when you start thinking about the great receivers, you think about the way they have to be bracketed and what has to be done to really compensate for double teaming in a creative way. But the more you're bracketing somebody that can get downfield, the farther back your defensive backs have to play. And by playing so far back, it really creates opportunities in the running game. And we all know that for everybody. But now, when you've got Derrick Henry, you can't really do that. So now all of a sudden it becomes, can your guys win one-on-one matchups, or can they win mismatches where the bracketing can't get done in time? That's part of what I think A.J. Brown brings to this offense. Now, the first thing you said, though, is the most important thing. You beat the Jets no matter who's on the field. The Jets are that stinking bad. That being said, I do think you're right that A.J. Brown deserves more credit for what he's doing. I don't know what Mina did to hurt you, though. I'll find out.
Well, I'm not like one of these people that just, like, I've heard her enough to, like, just kind of in one ear, out the other. Like, I'm not jumping to the television to watch Mina Kimes. And I don't, like, I think sometimes with personalities, it's like, oh, well, you should. Well, if I should, then it will come naturally to me that I need to jump to the TV to listen to it. Like the Manning brothers, I have to jump to the TV to watch the Manning brothers. I don't feel that way about Mina Kimes. I'm watching Mina Kimes on First Take yesterday, and she says they should fire Pete Carroll in Seattle. And I'm like, okay, I don't need to hear you anymore. Go away. That's how I feel about Mina Kimes. That's why I'm mad at Mina Kimes, Fitz.
Well, 2 things. Number 1, I don't know anybody that watches more film than Mina. But 2, she's also the biggest Seahawks fan I've ever met in my life. So you combine the 2, I'm sure she had reason to say it. But if you watch her on First Take regularly, usually what she does is reminds the entire audience how much football she watches and how little Stephen A. watches. So I'm usually checking off the box and Mina Kimes kicking his butt. So if she said that, she's got to have a reason. That's all I'm saying. And, I don't know the Seahawks well enough, but I'm sure she does.
Yeah, I think you can do a lot worse at coach than Pete Carroll. That's just me. Fitz is with us, presented by Blood Assurance. Give blood, give local, save lives. Speaking of Stephen A., he said what I think a lot of people in the media are afraid to say when it comes to the Titans, and that was that he doesn't believe they can be true contenders because he doesn't believe in Ryan Tannehill. Do you feel that way about Ryan Tannehill, or do you think that Derrick Henry is enough in a quarterback-driven league in order to lead the Titans perhaps to a Super Bowl?
So here's the thing. I think what we have to remember is the context of how every team is created. And, when you start thinking about the quarterback position specifically, I know that we think that you have to be a spectacular quarterback to win a Super Bowl, but that doesn't necessarily hold true if other things are there for you. Now, obviously, when you start talking about, what we saw from Tom Brady, great. We all know how great Tom Brady is, but we also know that, Jimmy Garoppolo had the 49ers within a few minutes of winning a Super Bowl against Patrick Mahomes, a far better quarterback. Jared Goff went to a Super Bowl, not a great quarterback. Nick Foles won a Super Bowl, not a great quarterback. Cam Newton lost a Super Bowl, not a great quarterback. I'm going up and down. Joe Flacco, Eli Manning. So I think the concept that you have to be a great quarterback to win a Super Bowl presumes that that's the way your team is built. The Titans are not built that way. The Titans are built to win a Super Bowl with Derrick Henry. So what I'm thinking about is twofold. One, you want to tell me that you're going to, wherever home field advantage is for outdoors, when we get into December, if you're talking about getting to the Super Bowl, then you're going to have to tackle Derrick Henry in the cold. I don't know that I think anybody's really capable of doing that. And then you get to the Super Bowl itself in L.A., I don't think, weather's going to be a factor, but if it is, it's rain. So I'm looking at a team and saying, okay, if I built my team like the Ravens built their team to win a Super Bowl a long time ago with such a killer defense that all Trent Dilfer had to do was not blow it, right? So I think that if the conversation is, can Ryan Tannehill go out and single-handedly will his team to win a Super Bowl? No, I don't think he can. Is that what the Titans are going to ask him to do? Heck no. So can he win a Super Bowl with this Titans team, with this roster? Yes.
Fitzy with us on the program. Fitzy, Titans play the Colts this weekend. I think I've said that the division is over if the Titans win this week. Do you think the Titans, and we saw the Colts in that rain game on Sunday Night Football, do you think the Titans should beat the Colts this weekend in Indianapolis, and what is the gap between the two teams?
Yeah, so, and I was super high on the Colts coming into the season, obviously.
You and everybody else that works at ESPN, yes.
Yeah, you're right. And, and what I've seen from the Colts this year has been, I think, what you could easily describe as maddeningly inconsistent, right? This is a Colts team that one week looks like they're everything I thought they were going to be, and the next week looks absolutely incapable of getting any offensive rhythm. It's the offensive rhythm that really concerns me for the Colts. As bad as they have played at times, I don't know that the Colts have a great identity right now in doing much of anything. I know that they went in and they beat the 49ers, but I don't think that's as much about the Colts as it is about where the 49ers are and all of the other variables that came into that game. So right now, I think the Titans are a substantially better team than the Colts in the way they're playing. And frankly, I can't believe I'm saying that, because the other part of it is, you could make a million excuses with injury and offensive line and everything else on why the Titans shouldn't be as good in the eyes of anybody that's just looking at the box score, but the Titans have played much better of late. At some point, and I'll go back to the college football playoff analogy, at some point we have to look at how teams are playing right now, and the Titans right now are on a roll. So until they end being on a roll, why are we going to presume they won't be? I think they can beat the Colts, and frankly, I've been the first to admit when I'm wrong. I think I was too high on the Colts coming in. You were right. I was wrong. And I think the Colts right now look like they're not only going to be not a contender in the division, by the time it's all said and done, I don't think the Colts are a playoff team.
Well said, Fitzy. As always, we appreciate
do not
you.
do that to his ego.
But
Because now I have to deal with
that he was
it.
wrong.
No, oh, gosh.
And he can admit when he complains too much in trivia, I bet, which I am very thankful for.
Fitz would probably be on my side with this.
Jason Fitz, ESPN Radio, again presented by Blood Assurance. We appreciate you, Fitz.
You guys are the best. Have a great week.
Yep, Jason Fitz, brought to you by Blood Assurance. Give blood, give local, save lives. Today we had our mandatory office meeting where we ended up doing team building with trivia. Caroline's team complained the whole time.
Okay. No.
Cheated me out of an extra day off.
We were fighting for what was right. It turned into more of a team breakdown activity.
I'm going to pick someday that I'm going to designate as the day that I would have taken off had you guys not complained, led by you. Had y'all not complained.
Because I was first, and I was right first. I said it before you did.
It doesn't matter. Saying it doesn't matter. It's who hit the bell first.
I hit the bell first, and I said it first.
So I'm going to pick a day in which Caroline cost me my the free off day, and every segment of that day I'm going to be like,
you wouldn't have won anyways.
Just here trudging through it. By the way, there has been a trade in the NFL that I want to touch on, and maybe a trade. People love trades. Maybe a trade the Titans could perhaps entertain. And you know me, I'm not into really trading. We'll get to that coming up next here on Stillman and Company. FanDuel Sportsbook. That's my official sportsbook app. The NFL season is approaching the halfway point, and FanDuel Sportsbook has a little something different to offer Sunday night's matchup between Dallas and Minnesota. Because FanDuel is giving new customers 25-1 odds on any touchdown scored in the game. That means you can end NFL Sunday by winning $125 on a $5 bet. My gut tells me Dallas is going to score a touchdown. So I'd feel pretty confident in putting that $5 down. FanDuel is sports betting made simple, and they're always hooking you up with great offers. And when you win, you'll get paid in as little as 2, according to this that I'm reading, 2 hours. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook app. Just sign up with the promo code JGM this week before Sunday night's matchup, and you could win $125 on a $5 bet. Remember to use promo code JGM so they know that I sent you exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. 21 and older and present Tennessee. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in a designated offer market. Max bonus $125. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobis. Going into tonight, clouds will thicken the first half, and then rain moves into the forecast the second half of tonight. Scattered showers continue throughout tomorrow with high temperatures in the middle 60s. Maybe a clap or two of thunder, but no severe weather.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Some people think fall is the best time of the year. It may also be a great time to consider getting vaccinated against COVID-19. Brought to you by BioNTech and Pfizer.
Hi guys, are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, today, Wednesday, October 27th, we're doing something unprecedented. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy, shown by Cambridge University to repair blood vessels and get rid of ED without pills. If you're ready to put a stop to your erectile dysfunction, call us now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also include something unique that produces instant effects in the bedroom. And today only, we're offering 2 additional treatments to our patients free. This means that if you notice results fading in the future, we'll retreat you free of charge. This is an extraordinary value worth thousands, and it's only good today, Wednesday, October 27th. Call us now to qualify. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and regain your love life. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now. This offer ends today. 615-576-5000.
Genesis Diamonds is gearing up for their biggest and last sale, November 5th, 6th, and 7th. It's an extra special event with savings of 20, 25, even up to 35%. Store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, nothing's held back for this once-a-year 3-day extravaganza. Acclaimed designers will be flying in with expanded collections and exceptional pricing. Plus, get 0% interest financing. The final store-wide sale of the year with discounts up to 35%. Get first pick on top gifts for the holidays, November 5th through 7th only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
When Genesis Diamonds has a sale, you know it's the real deal. And it's happening November 5th, 6th, and 7th. Our final store-wide sale of the year with deep discounts up to 35% off. This is the big one. The one where the staff knows they can break all the rules. Plus, the selection is nearly doubled with designers flying in their entire collections, all of it on sale. This is the last and best jewelry buying opportunity of the year. Save up to 35%, 0 interest financing. November 5th, 6th, and 7th only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
Robbie Stanley.
That size and that speed just doesn't grow on trees. That can be something that you can really turn into.
Joe Rexrode.
Just hold out and somebody will call in the bad signal.
Get your morning started with Robbie and Rexrode every weekday from 6 to 10. Presented by Volunteer State Bank on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is on. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
Stillman and Company, hey, do you want a pair of tickets to see Manchester Orchestra at the Ryman Auditorium on Wednesday, November 17th? Head over to the YouTube page and subscribe to 1025 The Game's YouTube page, and you'll enter for a chance to see Manchester Orchestra live. Once you subscribe, email us at promotions@cromwellmedia.com with your YouTube handle. One winner will be chosen on Monday, November 1st. And again, this is Caroline's job to get people to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And Caroline has kind of ticked me off today. So I would say,
if you just followed the rules like every other person did, then maybe I wouldn't have to make you mad.
Hey, we'll have Joe Rexrode on. We'll argue this with Joe.
Good.
Joe was a neutral observer to all of this earlier today.
Joe likes to stand with the truth, so he'll be on my side.
Oh, okay. So, speaking of Joe, the Athletic writers have put together like one trade person on each team, or who could be available at the trade deadline. Now, I hate trade deadline talk, because NFL trade deadline is not like baseball where you can go out and get somebody. Mm-hmm. Now, the Houston Texans just traded Mark Ingram to the Saints. And I think, there's a lot of reports about Deshaun Watson before next week, and I think they're going to be getting rid of a lot of people. So I do think that the Texans could be a team that would trade something. And instead of anytime somebody's unhappy, we get Texan to the text line, what about a first for Xavier Howard? No, the first-round pick and the third-round pick are off limits because you have to draft players with those picks. But I was skimming through The Athletic where each writer kind of put up trade targets. Tight end. I can see an upgraded tight end.
Yeah.
They've got one that stands out. Hayden Hurst from the Atlanta Falcons. Josh Kendall, who covers the Falcons for the Athletic, says the 2018 first-round draft pick isn't going to be a part of Atlanta's offense, with rookie Kyle Pitts emerging as the first, second, and third option at tight end. The Falcons also have veteran tight end Lee Smith, who is on pace for the best receiving season of his career. He can take up more slack if Hurst is dealt. So I believe that Hurst is up at the end of the year, so he'd be a free agent. And I don't know what his contract numbers are and things like that, but I know it matters. But I would send Anthony Firkser in exchange for Hayden Hurst. Now, I don't know if Arthur Smith would want Anthony Firkser, but I got to believe that Arthur Smith, who Firkser kind of flourished under as offensive coordinator, could come in and give the Falcons exactly what they're wanting from a second tight end and a guy like Hurst, and perhaps provide a cheaper option as the number 2 alternative over time to Kyle Pitts, especially with what Arthur Smith wants to do. Plus, Hayden Hurst already knows the offense because it's Arthur Smith's offense that he's running in Atlanta. I also wouldn't be against trading a 7th-round pick or a 6th-round pick or something conditional in order to get Hayden Hurst. The Falcons are going nowhere. He's not going to be on their team next year. And I'm not a big trader, and I don't think it sends you over the moon if you make this trade, but this is the one that I would consider is Hayden Hurst from Atlanta, and I almost would say, hey, you got to take some crap from me in order to give me Hayden Hurst because you guys totally swindled me on the Julio deal. So, I mean,
I don't think that's how this is going to work here.
Right. I don't think you can go somewhere.
You do business.
Like, you don't go back when you play you lose the 3-card Monty and go back to the guy and say, hey, now you got to tell me which one the card's under because you swindled me out of the $50.
Because that's the fair thing to do.
Right.
No, they're not going to do that.
But maybe they'll have some mercy.
That's awfully wishful thinking.
But Hayden Hurst. And I'm not giving up anything good for him. So like a 6th to 7th, Firkser, something like that normally you can't just trade trash to get something in return. For a guy like that, maybe you probably can't. That would be the one thing I'd be interested in.
There was another name that I saw thrown around as well, a tight end, Evan Ingram from the Giants.
Has not played in this offense or any offense like it.
And also is injured. And also, 27 isn't old, but it's not like he's a fresh young pup. So I saw that trade and I thought, I was very against trading for Evan Ingram. And I saw somewhere, too, that it was going to be like an Evan Ingram, Jabril Peppers package trade.
Titans don't have the resources for that.
I don't
they
like
have the
that.
money. They
No.
don't have any of that. Hurst is the only one that makes sense. Hurst doesn't come with a lot of money. You're not committed to him for more than next year, and there's no spot for him in Atlanta. They're not going anywhere. He is a better tight end than the three that you have. It's the only one that makes sense to me. But I'm not giving up anything good for him.
Especially coming from Arthur Smith.
Especially
and being able to contribute almost immediately.
Right. Like, if he comes in here on November 2nd, he'll be able to help you on November 9th. Michael Pruitt, for example, came in here and was able to help you right away because he was on the team last year. Joe Rexroad will join us next for a little Jared versus Joe. We get after it next, but first, Caroline wants to tell you about BetUS.
I want to tell you about my favorite sportsbook, and of course, that is BetUS. We're in the World Series. Put some money on the games tonight and do it with BetUS. BetUS has been America's favorite sportsbook for over 25 years, and that's exactly why I endorse them. They have integrity, they have longevity, and when you win on BetUS, you know that you're going to get paid, and you really cannot ask for more in a sportsbook. Plus, they offer everything. They have live betting, MMA, golf, horses, esports, all kinds of crazy prop bets. You want to put money on it, you can do it with BetUS. So call them today, and they will walk you through setting up an account. Their number is 1-800-79-BET-US. That is 1-800-79-BET-US. They'll walk you through setting up an account. I've done it. It is super easy. And nobody in the industry gives bigger bonuses than BetUS. If you join now and you mention the promo code GAME, G-A-M-E, you can get a sign-up bonus on your first deposit. Nobody in the industry beats BetUS. I bet there, and so should you. So go now to BetUS.com. Join today. Put in promo code GAME, G-A-M-E, for a sign-up bonus on your first deposit. That is BetUS.com.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Did you see the Tennessee Titans? He has all the weapons to make it happen.
There's so much to pay attention to.
Greeny from 9 to 11.
Ryan Tannehill is the most disrespected player.
Art and Han from 11 to 2.
You never stop punching.
They've got to learn how to close the deal.
And the Paul Feinbaum Show afternoons from 2 to 6.
Are these legitimate contenders to the party?
Your exclusive home for ESPN Radio in the Music City.
ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Get the ultimate mouth guard with affordable coverage from Delta Dental of Tennessee. Offering a large network of dentists and a variety of plans, you'll get better coverage than a defensive secondary. Learn more at deltadentaltn.com.
We can see your smile, and we think you should be able to see it too. With Delta Dental of Tennessee and Delta Vision, we can improve your overall well-being by keeping your teeth and eyes healthy. Visit deltadentaltn.com to find an affordable plan.
More machines, more savings, and more muscle. Only with John Deere construction equipment from Meade Tractor. Hit the heavy jobs harder with our Own It offer and get special financing on select models. New, used, or rent, we have the right equipment and technology solution for you with the affordable financing you need. Contact us today at our Nashville location or go online at meadtractor.com.
Offer valid on qualified purchases and new equipment made between now through October 31st, 2021. Subject to approved installment credit with John Deere Financial for commercial use only. Down payment may be required. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Hi guys, are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, today, Wednesday, October 27th, we're doing something unprecedented. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy, shown by Cambridge University to repair blood vessels and get rid of ED without pills. If you're ready to put a stop to your erectile dysfunction, call us now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also include something unique that produces instant effects in the bedroom. And today only, we're offering 2 additional treatments to our patients free. This means that if you notice results fading in the future, we'll retreat you free of charge. This is an extraordinary value worth thousands, and it's only good today, Wednesday, October 27th. Call us now to qualify. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and regain your love life. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now. This offer ends today. 615-576-5000.
Halloween is here, and that means scary low prices at Electronic Express. Save big on the best 4K TVs from Samsung, LG, Sony, Hisense, TCL, and more. Keep an eye on your kids and your home with smart security from Ring, Arlo, and Night Owl. Appliances are covered with up to 50% off, in stock, and ready to deliver with up to 36 months free financing. Get spooky low prices this Halloween at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT-FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman & Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, ESPN 1025. The Game streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. World Series later tonight. I am very pumped. But first, got to do some battling with Joe Rexroad, who is with us. Hello, Joseph. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Well, I'm a little ticked off because today during company trivia, I felt like Caroline's complaining led to me not getting the free day off that I believe your team got, right?
Yeah, because we dominated.
I will say this.
Did you forget that part?
I will
Joe
say this.
kicked some butt in
Joe
trivia.
kicked some serious rear end in trivia today. Now, it was 80s, 90s trivia, so it was like right in Joe's wheelhouse, not exactly in Caroline's. But we have a debate that we need you to settle before we start debating, and that is that did Caroline's complaining, did I hit the bell first when Caroline claimed to have hit the bell first that made us restart the game and thus cost my team the chance to have the extra day off?
I mean, look, I hate to be Switzerland, but I really have no idea. I really don't know. It was,
and by that, I think he means that I was first.
Oh, hush.
I'll go with Caroline. Yeah, let's go with Caroline.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate that.
All right.
You just won yourself some brownie points.
In one corner, we have the man from the Midwest who loves Michigan State and will be rooting hard for them this week in their game against Michigan. The man who can't stop talking about bumper music on the air. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Rexroad. And in the winning corner.
Oh, there is no winning corner.
We're
just in the other corner.
In the other corner, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Modest himself, Jared Stillman.
I'm nauseous. A wave of nausea just came over my entire body.
Jared Stillman versus Joe Rexroad. Now on Stillman and Company.
on ESPN
102.5 The Game.
First and foremost, the Predators snapped their 102
I thought you were
going
to ask about Steely Dan first.
Oh, no, that's Joe's thing.
Oh, okay.
Joe likes Steely Dan.
Although Joe
We
did
all
kill
love
us
Steely
on
Dan.
Joe did kill us on 80s and 90s trivia today.
He did.
So that's-
He did. And to be fair, I think the median age at our table was much younger than any other table out there. Because
Yeah,
it was,
Ian was the old man at your table.
myself and Michelle. And then Robbie and Ian. We were all like the younger ones of the crew.
there's some truth.
So I think that we deserve a recount for that one. But getting down to business, the Predators have snapped their 192 game sellout streak. Is this a bad sign for the team moving forward, or is this just an unfortunate coincidence given that the World Series was last night? Joe, you go first.
Well, I don't think it's an unfortunate coincidence. I think it's reality. I think it's reality of a fan base that it's still a young fan base. It's a fan base that I think grew markedly, I would say, 4 years ago with the Stanley Cup run. A fan base that has been treated to some really good teams and high expectations and postseason runs, showing some apathy and showing some, discontent with the way things have gone. I mean, I think this was inevitable. So, I think that's a reality of what we'll see this season. I think we're going to see some empty seats in there. I think we have in every game. I think it's I don't know that it's a bad sign necessarily. It's reality of when the team starts going down. Look, it's expensive to go to professional sports anymore. I mean, and you can look at attendance in just about anything. The top college football programs. I mean, Nick Saban sometimes has complained about empty seats at Alabama football games. It is more and more increasingly people would rather just be home with the home theater and not spend all that money. And you got to really work hard to draw people to your games. I think the Preds do a very good job of that, but the product's got to be better if you want to fill that place.
I think that this was a necessary step backwards for the Predators. I mean, last year it was like, why are they not selling at the trade deadline? And there was kind of this disgust, but no one ever would put their name to it, kind of belief that they really wanted to host some home playoff games last year. And like a lot of us in the media couldn't believe it because, like, what does one round of the playoffs really do for your big picture? Here they're playing young guys, and when you play young guys, you're probably going to lose. So I felt like this is natural that they were going to have this when you are used to President's Trophy or Stanley Cup talk. The Braves can't sell out anything, and now the lowest ticket for the World Series is $1,000. So I think this is the natural ecosystem of pro sports. I don't think the vaccine or COVID test mandate helped, but I also don't think it hurt, like people that are going to be like, somebody texted the text line. I was like, go woke, go broke. I'm like, I don't think that's an issue. There's a ton of tickets for the Titans against the Texans in a couple of weeks, and I don't think the Titans have anything like that. So I think it's just basically like a necessary step for the Predators to get to where they want to be.
On to the next one. Jayon Brown, listed on the designated to return list for the Titans. Jared and I talked about this briefly earlier in the show, but Jared, you go first. If Jayon Brown is healthy, do you play him against Indianapolis? And if so, who you pulling?
If he's healthy, I would activate him and I would have him active. I would not, though, put him in the game right now against Indianapolis over either middle linebacker. I mean, I think David Long Jr., and I don't know if special is the right word to use for David Long Jr., but I think what you're seeing from David Long Jr. is what you kind of saw last year, 2 years ago from Jonnu Smith, where it was like, hey, this guy's a player. He may not be a great player. He may not go to the Pro Bowl, but he is a player. And I don't think Brown's had moments like that, but I think his injury history makes it hard for me to, really look at him as that kind of player. I do think that there are situations where he's better for you than Rashaan Evans, but with a team that runs the ball with Jonathan Taylor, I think I'd leave Rashaan Evans on the football field in the game Sunday. So, I mean, he'll come in passing situations maybe, but I do think I'd have him active. You're only one injury away from needing him. And Jayon Brown's a better player than Avery Williamson or anybody else at that middle linebacker spot. But I do think that David Long Jr. has firmly taken his spot.
Yeah, look, I frankly agree. I mean, Jayon Brown will be useful in some matchups. Actually, had he been totally healthy, I think the Chiefs, that's a perfect example of a team where Brown and Long together might be really effective. David Long is not coming off the field. He has more than earned the right to be out there in all situations because he makes plays in all situations at every level. Worked really hard on his coverage, and it's coming together for him. He's becoming a really good player. Rashaan Evans this Sunday, this is his type of game. This is why you still have a quote unquote box linebacker on why there's still a need for that, because you play teams like the Colts, or if you're another team, because you play teams like the Titans. So I suspect the way things have gone, it seems like usually that first week of practice doesn't lead to being active the next Sunday anyway. But down the road, I've thought for weeks now that Long Brown could end up being a really effective middle tandem, especially against teams that are more pass-oriented, which is most of the league.
Do you have a rebuttal, or shall we move on to the next?
No, we just agreed.
Okay. Third one, true or false? Joe, you start. If the Titans beat the Colts, they've locked up the AFC South.
False. But, well, it's not true, Jared. I mean, way crazier things have happened than the Titans being up 3 with a sweep over a team. And
so 4.
Fumbling it away. Right. But again, with 9 games to play, I mean, way crazier things than that have happened in this league. Would it be about 95% done? Yeah. I mean, I think if you're Indy, you've got to think more in terms of just scrambling to find a way to get in as the 7 in the AFC picture. But I wouldn't print up a hat if I were the Titans yet. I wouldn't print up a T-shirt, because you could have a devastating injury. I mean, they've had a ton of them already. You could just keep having this stream of injuries, and eventually it could affect you. And the Colts have had an unbelievably tough schedule here in the first half. It does get better for them. They have a couple more real tough ones too after this, but wouldn't be totally over. It would be close.
I think it would be over by simple math, and that is that you'd have a 4-game lead. They still have Buffalo, Tampa Bay, Arizona. And even if they win one of those games, you would have to assume that the Patriots, the Raiders, one of those games would be given back. And I think they're going to lose those 3 games. Buffalo, Tampa Bay, Arizona. I don't even think on their best day the Colts can beat those 3 teams. That would give them 9 losses. All the Titans would have to do is beat Jacksonville and Houston twice, and then you'd be tied with Indianapolis if you don't win another game. And so, to me, I think it's pretty obvious that between the Saints, the Steelers, the Patriots, the 49ers, they're going to win one of those games, the Titans are, and they're definitely going to win the 2 Houstons and the Jacksonville. So now Indy would have to go and steal a Buffalo, Tampa, or Arizona game, and I just don't think that that's likely at all. That's on top of winning all the other games, which would include New England and the Raiders, where I'm not sure they'd be favored in those games. And I think that the Colts honestly don't have a roster that's good enough to be able to pull themselves out of that kind of mess. Like the 1-4 Titans were in a mess, but they hadn't played anybody in the division, so they swept the division, and they had a team that went to the Super Bowl 2 years prior. This team doesn't have that, so I feel like the division is over. I will say this, print up the hats and the T-shirts if they win on Sunday.
The idea that they have no chance to win any of those 3 games on their best day, I mean, look, at least you're being consistent. You're consistently underrating this team. This is a good roster. This is a team that went out and took it to Baltimore on the road. They blew it. Lamar Jackson was incredible. You watch look at how they've played the last few weeks. They went out in San Francisco and I was very impressed with that win. Carson Wentz is running around now.
How were you impressed with that win?
Because they played well. They were in a nasty, mucky condition on the road against a solid football team.
Here's what happened in that game Sunday night. They realized 2 things that San Francisco didn't. One was you can't really throw the ball in this weather. So what did they do? They threw the ball up in the air to their wide receivers for jump balls, and the 49ers were too dumb to realize what they were doing, and they tackled the guy before the ball got there, and they got pass interference calls. The other thing is Jimmy Garoppolo might as well have been playing for the other team because he couldn't realize that you can't fit the ball in a tight window in that weather. He kept trying to do it, and he kept fitting it right into the hands of Colts players. I did not walk away from that game thinking, hey, that's impressive by Indy. The one thing I thought Indy proved in that game is I think that left side of the line with Fisher and Nelson might develop to be pretty good. But all in all, I walked away from that thinking, man, San Francisco played that game so dumb and Jimmy played it so terribly. And I have nothing positive to say about the Colts other than the left side of their offensive line from that game.
Yeah, it's got to be the other team that sucks. Look, I mean, you celebrated when Wentz was signed. I mean, Wentz is
because it's Halloween, and
Titans.
I think the division might be over. That's why I celebrated.
Yeah, okay. Well, like you knew that he'd be playing against the Titans unable to move. They had to wheel him out there and say, hey, Carson, stand there and throw carefully, okay? Just walk back gingerly to the huddle. Look, the Colts
How did you not know that was a possibility with him?
Sure, but he's healthy now, and he's running around now. And even in those nasty conditions, he made some plays. Yeah, they went up and threw some back shoulder throws and got PIs on with Pittman. I mean, that's smart football. They've got a solid, sound defense. I do think Julian Blackmon tearing his Achilles is brutal for the Colts, but they have a real shot here to beat the Titans. Look, if they don't, it's basically over. It's just, I mean, it's basically over. I just wouldn't say it is completely over. I just have serious doubts that that's going to happen. I think there's a real good chance it's a one-game situation after Sunday.
Coming up next, We got more Jared versus Joe. We will do that next here on Stillman & Company. TriStar Moving, my official movers. I moved with TriStar Moving a year ago, and it was one of the best experiences I've ever had, period. And it was definitely the best experience that I've ever had moving. I hate moving. But with TriStar Moving, you get 5-star movers with TriStar Movers with 5-star service. They are the best. Their owners, Garrett and Robert, hold a very high standard for their moving, and they care very deeply because they're true Nashvillians. So they want to welcome you to the Music City if you're not from here, or if you're from here, they want to take care of you the Nashville way. I was so glad that I moved with TriStar. Everything was taken care of perfectly. No scratches in the old home, no problems in the new one. I love TriStar Moving, so give them a call today. Again, that's TriStar Moving online, NashvilleMoving.org/radio. That's TriStar Moving with 5-star service, NashvilleMoving.org/radio. Tell them Jared Stillman sent you at TriStar Moving for 5% off your entire move. That's TriStar Moving, my official movers.
Can he get in? He will! What a run! And a touchdown for Derrick Henry!
King Henry and the Titans are surging into a big Week 8 showdown at Indianapolis.
I challenge all, bro. Win every day, not just every game.
And we've got you covered all week long.
That's exactly what this offense needs to be. Are the Tennessee Titans the best team in the AFC?
This is Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee, serving golfers since 1968.
102.5 The Game has your chance to win Preds tickets all month long. Just post a picture of your radio dial set to 102.5 The Game on social media and tag the game and use hashtag TicketDash to be instantly qualified. All brought to you by Social Furniture. Shop local. Shop social.
Even with the national supply shortage, Hi-Fi Buys retail store stocked up months ago. For this week's 44th anniversary, we have a huge in-stock selection of 4 and 8K TVs, projectors, speakers, soundbars, subwoofers, streaming players, and more. And because we planned ahead for this event, we made special purchases before most manufacturer prices increased. Now, we're passing those savings on to you. Let's talk TVs. We have nearly every Sony TV in stock, plus great prices on Samsung, LG, Sierra. Some year-end models we're practically giving away. Do not wait. Shop for the holidays now. Shortages are happening and prices are going up. Get the best for less now. At Hi-Fi Buys, when we have a sale, it's a real deal. Just the very best quality for the very best price. Some sale prices can't be displayed. See sales associate for your special price. Get over to Hi-Fi Buys 44th anniversary sale. This week only. This sale will not be extended. Hi-Fi Buys. See us on Nolensville Road or HiFiBuysNashville.com. Custom division, special order manufacturers that prohibit discounting excluded.
Boys and Girls Clubs of Middle Tennessee ensures children and teens, especially those who need us most, are ready to read, ready for class, ready to graduate, ready for their career, and ready to serve the community. You can support local youth and their great futures by donating at bgcmt.org.
Ryan Porth back again to tell you about Dr. Kelly Rice Family Cosmetic and Dental Sleep Medicine. Earlier this year, Dr. Rice, I was disappointed to have a cavity filling even after brushing my teeth all the time and having regular checkups.
Ryan, cavities are like any other health condition. You don't really know you have one until it gets bad. Recently, I saw a patient for treatment that they had been putting off. Something that could have been simple to fix 6 months ago turned out to need a root canal and a crown. Postponing treatment costs more and takes time away from work.
Well, I can attest to the fact that if I had not been doing regular checkups, I may have had to get a root canal by now. But thanks to your great staff that has been taking care of me for almost 15 years, my teeth are as good as they've ever been.
Well, we do things differently. I want to let people know that if they're afraid of pain or worried about the cost, they are not alone. Don't be embarrassed. We understand. Give us a call at 615-373-4488. That's kellyerice.com.
Dr. Kelly Rice, Family Cosmetic and Dental Sleep Medicine, 615-373-4488.
Interact with Stillman & Company. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Stillman & Company, Jared versus Joe, round number 2. Joe Rexroad is with us. So, Caroline, we get right back to it.
Let's get into the thick of it.
Yes, Ian. I got to give a shout out to Ian. We'll see you
No.
Yes,
Oh, no.
Music talk. Let's go.
Joe, oh, my God. Oh. So the audience doesn't understand this. And I'm going to offend a lot of people in this industry right now. And I'm not sure I'm going to care. There is nothing that gets up my keister more than hearing bump music talk. So when they play a song, the songs that return when we come from break, I think Ian plays the same ones every day. I don't even know what they are or what they aren't, and I never talk about them and I never think about them because I have a job to do, right? Like if you go into Chipotle to get a burrito, you don't listen to the music and say, oh, sorry, I can't make your burrito right now because this Christina Aguilera song just came on the overhead speaker at Chipotle, so I need to do my Genie in a Bottle dance moves.
Oh, that is a great song, though.
But
it's a good song.
For
It's
some reason, sports radio hosts think it's their God-given right to be oh yeah, this is some good Guns N' Roses coming back from break. Dude, get to work. It just drives me insane. And Joe the other day spent 8-minute segment. I kid you not. 3 minutes on Steely Dan, 5 minutes on the Titans, and Joe said that it broke his heart that Mark Howard didn't like Steely Dan, and I had to text Joe, and I said, it breaks my heart that you're talking about bumper music in the middle of drive time.
And by the way, how much time of ours did you just waste with that crap?
That's a fair rebuttal.
I had to make the point because I knew what Joe was doing. You know what I mean? I knew what Joe was doing by saying, way to go, Ian. I knew what he was doing.
You made your point.
So I had to explain to the audience. I had to, let them in on why I was so worked up. Go ahead, Carol.
Thank you for doing
that. They're better
that.
for it. Thank you.
Yeah, I think they feel better about it. I think I know where both of you stand on this, but I haven't heard you talk about it together. So I'd like to bring it to the table now while I can.
Okay.
Evan Ingram to the Titans. Joe, I know you went first last time, but I want to hear your thoughts on this first. Do you think that is a possible trade that the Titans could or should make?
Gosh, honestly, that's not one that I had even really considered much. I wouldn't do it. To me, I think if you can find a decent player at a low price right now, and I'm thinking more along the lines of corner, and I'm not even totally sure you need to do that, but it wouldn't be a terrible thing to have another corner that you feel decent about in the rotation. I understand that tight end has been has been an issue for sure, but that to me seems a little pricey. I would say no. I mean, look, the Titans, one thing they really need, look, they obviously didn't make enough moves that they should have drafted someone, I think, at tight end for sure. They need Anthony Ferguson to get healthy. I absolutely watch him out there right now. It's not the same guy who was in camp. And I'm not saying he's going to come out and be, like Kevin Byard said, he's going to be like Delaney Walker and Jonnu Smith combined or whatever, but he's better than we've seen this year. They need that to materialize. But I would not make a trade for someone like that.
I said this earlier last hour. Hayden Hurst is the only one that makes sense for me. You don't have to give up anything to get him. He's gone at the end of the year. He's no use to his current team, even though they're not very good. And he already knows your offense. That one seems pretty standard to me, and he's better than the 3 tight ends you have. Evan Ingram is kind of an injury risk. He's kind of a catching the ball risk. He doesn't know your offense. He's going to cost too much. I think that's too much at this point in the year. I'm not a huge trading guy. I'm what piece is out there that knows what you do that can come in right now and help? I think Hayden Hurst is that guy. I'll give you an example. New Orleans just traded for Mark Ingram at running back because they need help at running back, I guess, and Mark Ingram knows what they do. So, to me, I don't think bringing in a guy at this point in the year who doesn't know what you do makes a whole lot of sense.
Okay, coming up next, the NFL trade.
Wait, Joe, do you like the Hayden Hurst?
Yeah, actually, I do. I'm almost sickened by how much we're agreeing on this segment.
This is a very civil Jared versus Joe. Is one of you sick?
I got cheated earlier today, so my angst is maybe somewhere else.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm kidding.
You're welcome, Joe. I'll absorb the angst for the day. NFL trade deadline coming up on Tuesday. Is Deshaun Watson out of Houston by then? Jared, you go first.
Dude, I don't know.
It's pretty crazy.
Today, did you see the John McClain report that the owner of the Dolphins wants Watson to settle these cases before he makes the trade, and Watson doesn't want to settle? It's that's some pretty life-altering stuff that you're talking about in the span of a week that they have to make it. And I think Roger Goodell yesterday basically said that Deshaun Watson's not going to get in trouble. So if Miami does trade for him, he can play. Now, that's trouble with the league. That's not trouble with the cops. which I think is a big risk. And I don't know like what the conditions would be on the trade or things like that. I mean, this to me is a total 50. I'm going to say yes, only because if it's already gotten to the point to where the Panthers are out, their owner told Ian Rappaport that he's out. And he's only out because Watson won't accept a trade there. That means that Watson said he'll waive it for Miami, and Miami is clearly in the mix. If we know that if John McClain is reporting that the owner said, hey, settle this and you're my quarterback, that they'll probably figure something out somewhere, somehow, and Deshaun Watson will probably be with the Dolphins next week.
Well, Watson wants Miami. I mean, that's been the case all along, and you know, I mean, that's the place that he's wanted reportedly. And I'm kind of this. Man, I hate to. This is way too much agreement, but I'm about the same way. I don't know. I'm down the middle. I guess I'll guess no, because ultimately it's just such a big move and such a risk. And like you said, what are the protections? What kind of assurances can you have? But I won't be surprised at all if it happens. It's a wild situation for sure. So gosh, this is awful.
It is awful. It is awful.
This is gross.
Here's my issue though. Like,
it might have to be a tie.
In a practical world, it would make no sense to trade for Deshaun Watson. Like, it makes absolutely no sense for everything that you're going to give up to bring in Deshaun Watson to play quarterback when he's facing allegations from 22 women. It makes no sense in any job for anything. It's like, hey, should we bring Bobby in to run the concession stands at the ballpark? Nope, he's facing 22 sexual misconduct allegations. I think we can have somebody else do that. And yet,
but Deshaun Watson is not just some quarterback. I mean,
know
that's why you do it.
But what you have to give up is way more too.
Well,
I mean, like
that's
the
whole key.
Sink your business. If you give up 3 first-round picks, 2 players, and another pick, and it doesn't work, you don't have a quarterback, and you don't have any means of getting one for forever.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, I mean, hey, it's like not practical in anything else, and yet, I think it's probably gonna. I think 51% it's gonna happen. Just is insane.
Yeah, it's insane, and I think I'm with you. I don't think that he's in Houston by next week. It's just not a move that I would ever make because you're risking so much, you're giving up so much, and you run the risk of ostracizing some of your fans and making such a bold move like that.
Who won?
Well, you agreed too much, and you've been bugging me today, so, Joe, you win.
Oh, that is so crap. Oh,
that's
goodness.
Perfectly fine reasoning.
Thank you. Yep, that's really all I got for you this week.
Unbelievable. Joe Rexrode, as always. Joe, we appreciate you. And
W's all day long, baby. Fly the
Eat a dub.
I guess.
Eat a dub.
I
There you
guess.
go.
The one that got me was the Reggie Jackson answer that Joe hit out of the park on trivia, and I was right there on it, and I just wanted to hear the name Reggie Jackson, and then I was going to bang that bell, and Joe hit it earlier, so who knows. Appreciate you, Joe.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yep, Joe Rexrode, a little Jared versus Joe. I got to be honest, while today is everybody, I'm going to say take shots at Caroline Day, but I mean, you got to pick some topics that we're going to disagree on now.
Well, I'm trying my best.
I
try to pick topics that I think that you two will disagree on.
How about Joe's crazy take that the Chief fans had more fans than the Bills?
I cannot address the percentage of fans in the stadium with Joe anymore. I cannot.
You're done with that?
I'm done with that because Joe is so delusional in his little castle in the press box, and he's sitting pretty in his air conditioning with his free food and doesn't have any idea how many fans are in those stands. I cannot talk to Joe anymore about fan percentages.
Speaking of not having an idea, there is something, and I usually have my pulse on this city pretty well. I'm from here, been on the radio long enough, know what I'm doing in radio, that kind of stuff, that I have a pretty good pulse. But there's something that I'm not completely sure of. How much people are in or out. I want to get to that next here on Stillman and Company. Focus, that's right. I would say energy drink, but when I say energy drink, you think of something that's got all these like fake, sweeteners in it and crazy caffeine here and some things that I don't even know how to pronounce in it as well. Not Focus. That's right. Focus, P-H-O-C-U-S, drinkfocus.com. Focus has that natural tea caffeine. So it's all natural. It's sparkling water with a spark. It just tastes like sparkling water, but it's got that caffeine in there. Had Focus, had a big day today, knew it was going to be a lot, so I made sure to drink my Focus this morning. And your body needs water, so it doesn't need to be boring. That's why I love Focus. Give it a try. You can go to your local Publix, and they have it right there. I went to Publix the other day, and I got the peach. In fact, if you're looking at the stream right now, I have just pulled out my peach Focus right here, and it says, you can call it sparkling water, or you can call it a naturally energizing, brain-focusing, taste-tantalizing hydrator, which I can say I believe because I drink Focus, and I had it this morning. Go to drinkfocus.com, P-H-O-C-U-S. Go to drinkfocus.com and enter promo code GAME at checkout for 15% off your first order and have it delivered right to your door. Get rid of the fake sweeteners, the fake energy, the crash, the sugar, the calories. Get rid of all that. Focus, P-H-O-C-U-S, drinkfocus.com.
Saturday afternoon.
That's up for Yossi to score. Tic-tac-toe. Roman Yossi.
Roman Yossi and the Nashville Predators welcome the New York Islanders to Bridgestone Arena. Pre-game at 11:30. Face-off at 12:30. On Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey folks, Robbie Stanley here, and basketball fans celebrate the NBA's 75th anniversary season on FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers can place their first bet risk-free, and if you don't win, you'll get up to $1,000 back. If you've been thinking about betting FanDuel, now is the perfect time to give it a shot. The Miami Heat, an intriguing option this year with same-game parlay bets. You meet Tyler Hero on the over on three-pointers, Bam Adebayo over on defensive rebounds as well. But you take it any way you want to take it. Offers like this are why I love betting the NBA with FanDuel Sportsbook. You get paid in as little as 2 hours. They've got great odds boost and specials every day and great live betting options as well. So see for yourself why America's #1 sportsbook app is FanDuel Sportsbook. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app, sign up using promo code ROB to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000 and make every moment matter more this season. That promo code is ROB. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Winter's a bad time for your furnace to go out, but it's never a bad time to call Lee Company. Our heating and air conditioning pros are available 24/7. No heat? Don't wait. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000. Our expert technicians will diagnose the issue and fix it right the first time. When you're cold, you need someone you can count on to bring the heat. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Men, what if I told you that now you're able to get testosterone replacement therapy in the comfort of your own home? No more weekly trips to the doctor's office. We come to you 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. Be seen by a licensed medical professional in the privacy and comfort of your own home or office. You decide. Schedule your appointment today at CoolSpringsMDformen.com.
Are you a father that is passionate about your fundamental constitutional right to parent your own child or children? Has your parenting time or your income been affected by COVID? This is Amanda J. Gentry, and I am a fierce defender of your constitutional rights. The courts in Tennessee are under an obligation to maximize equal parenting time. We do not live in an every other weekend world anymore. At the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry, fathers are extremely important, much like my own father was. Go to AmandaJGentry.com or call or text 615-604-6263. That's AmandaJGentry.com.
Attention Nashville, 3-Day Blinds is here to solve your window treatment needs. 3-Day Blinds has more than 40 years of experience designing, installing, and manufacturing high-quality custom window treatments. We transform homes with custom blind shade shutters and drapery with expert in-home design consultations. Your 3-Day Blinds design consultant is with you every step of the way, including setting up your installation. Book your free in-home design consultation today at 3dayblinds.com. That's 3dayblinds.com.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Presented by FreedomTireGuys.com, Nashville's premier mobile tire company, and Craneworks and Rental Works, your source for crane and equipment rental. Visit Craneworks.com. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Smashville, this is Sean Henry. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The shift is on for the Astros. Altuve around to the left of second. And now the 2-0 and a swing and a ball hit to deep left field, and Atlanta strikes early. Soler lines a rocket into the Crawford boxes. And 3 pitches into Game 1 of the World Series, the Braves have a 1-0 lead.
So I picked the Braves to win last night, but I didn't think it was going to be like that. First play of the game, bang, home run. As everybody knows, I am a die-hard Braves fan. I went to the World Series last time they were in it in 1999, and I remember the feeling sitting along the first baseline when Chipper Jones hit a home run, which was their only run in game number 1. They blew it in the 8th inning, and they lost to the Yankees, and they lost in 4 games. Last night, Braves brought out the sticks. I thought it was awesome. I thought the game took too long, and I say that as kind of a neutral observer. But I wonder this question, and I won't know this until Mike Organ or whomever reports this, whoever gets this information. What were the local television ratings from last night's game? Because I do wonder this. I've got a pretty good pulse on the town. Like, I know when people care about the Vols and what they care about when it comes to the Vols. I know what people care about with the Titans and when it comes to the Titans. I know that if you want to talk about what people care about with the Titans, talk about them being contenders for the Super Bowl, Derrick Henry, or Julio Jones. That's what people want to talk about. I don't understand why everybody's so obsessed with Julio Jones, but they are. I know what people care about when it comes to the Predators. And I know when, in 2018, Floyd and I, for the first time ever, this radio station took over the 4 o'clock hour. And people were like, wow. But it was because we saw the reaction when the Predators were the best team in the league and how much people listened to it. So we just kept talking it. Other shows and other stations were doing what they had always done. And we were like, no. Everything tells us that these people don't care about college basketball. They care about the Preds. So we did. I do wonder how much the people of Nashville care about the World Series. I would say on average, of the 5 years I've been doing this, the people of Nashville did not care about one World Series except for the one that the Cubs won. That was one where we had topics and calls, and Floyd cared about it, kind of. And I was kind of stunned when the Cubs won the World Series. Other than that, I mean, they have not cared about the Astros and the Dodgers. They have not cared about the Dodgers and the Rays. They have not cared about the Astros and the Nationals. They haven't cared about any of that. And you can tell. It's like a topic on Tannehill or that. But the Braves are the local team. I mean, in all seriousness, if Nashville was a pie of what teams people care about, the Braves would be the majority pie. I think followed by the Cubs, then followed by the Yankees/Red Sox, then maybe the Cardinals, then the Reds and everybody else. But I still don't know if it moves the needle or not here in town. What do you think?
It's tough because this isn't a city that has a baseball team, and it's a city full of a lot of transplants who bring their own team interests to this city, but this city feels predominantly like a Braves city. There are some Reds fans, some Cardinals fans, people who moved from wherever else, or people who may be from here and they had allegiances to the Yankees because they liked Derek Jeter growing up, whatever it may be. But I think it being a predominantly Braves fan city makes people care about it. And I think having the sounds here makes people care about baseball. I think having, what?
The sounds?
What, like going to games? I mean, like going to games for me growing up was what made me care about baseball moving forward when I got older.
Where did you live, though?
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I lived in a baseball city.
You lived in a pro town that had the most popular local team in America.
Okay, yes. That's true.
That is not the same as having a AAA team.
I don't think that having the Sounds hurts baseball interest in the city.
I don't think it hurts, but I don't think that like the Sounds play any bit. Like the fact that nobody cares when it's the Astros and the Dodgers, like I think that has nothing to do with the Sounds. Just like if more people are excited about it when the Braves are in there.
I'm just talking about baseball interest in general.
So here's my thing about every sport that's not the NFL. I think that every sport is popular on a local level and it struggles nationally. Like, I don't think, NBA big personalities, I think sometimes play like LeBron, but I'm not sure that it plays like the way it used to. Same with baseball, same with hockey, same with all these other sports. That's why, like, I look at this and I'm like, do the Braves move the needle here that enough people in Nashville see the Braves as their team, and thus they're like, yes, that's my team.
More so than any other team. So, yes.
But more so that, like, because it is the World Series. It is not like it is a Tuesday.
I mean,
in June.
if this was a regular season, it's July 12th, and the Braves are playing the Marlins or the Mariners. No, I don't think people want to hear us talk about the Braves for even a segment. This is the World Series, and this is a team that I think we can both agree, like, this city is predominantly a Brave city. So if they don't care about it now, they're not ever going to care about it. And I think that they do care.
I think they care, too. Like, I really do think they care. Like, the Midday Show had Tom Glavine on today, and I'm like, I heard that. I think people want to hear what Tom Glavine has to say. But I don't know. And then I will say this. I thought the game last night, what really got me last night about last night's game? Dusty Baker, when he would go to the mound and, like, do the high school stall for, like, the pitcher to warm up.
Yeah.
Like, bro, this is the big leagues. And I think
and this is the World Series.
If I'm Major League Baseball, I think I'd tell Dusty in no uncertain terms that the second that you walk towards that mound, if you do this again, I'm sending the umpire right there after you, and he's making you make that change right then and there. This idea of, let's send the catcher to go talk to the pitcher, and so the catcher's talking to the pitcher. Okay, now the umpire says, come back, catcher. Now Dusty takes a 45-minute stroll to the mound, and he makes the change, and he stands there and talks to the pitcher until the umpire makes him make the change, and then he makes the change, and then the pitcher comes in. That game, somebody tweeted this out yesterday. In 1991, Game 4 of the World Series was 4 hours and 12 minutes, which I think was kind of equal to, if not less, than last night's game.
Mm-hmm.
That's went too 12 long. Innings.
That's too long.
12 innings. Like, come on, baseball. Like, hurry it up. And I think that, and like the crazy part is baseball knows this is their problem too.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to do anything about it.
No.
It's wild. It's like, it's just.
I also do wonder if there's a little element here that a lot of people have such resentment toward the Houston Astros for 2017 that everyone's just cheering for the Braves to beat them.
I think that's probably the case. I don't know. Like, I do wonder what the TV ratings around the country will say. They'll be much higher than 2020. But they probably won't be, like, astronomical or anything like that.
I think they're going to be record-breaking.
Had the Yankees or the Red Sox gotten in and you had Braves-Yankees, Braves-Red Sox, I think you could have had a huge...
Or if you had Dodgers-Red Sox.
Nah, I think people are tired of the Dodgers. Like,
I think that you're just a Braves homer.
No, they had that series 2 years ago. The ratings were terrible. So, or 3 years ago. I don't think that would have moved the needle out. I think the Dodgers don't. I think there's, like, Dodger fatigue. They've been in this a lot. So, I mean... I just personally think that if you'd had the Yankees and the Braves, like, I think you'd have had huge ratings, in large part because of the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
Or even the Red Sox, like, they would have brought huge ratings, and then people would have sold it as baseball's on the come-up, baseball's back, baseball's this, and I don't think they're going to get that this year. I do think, though, that more people around the country, I do think people do want to watch the Braves around the country, especially because, to your point, they hate the Astros, but I think here in Nashville, I don't know. I wonder what the difference between Game 1 of 2019, Houston-Washington, local rating on Fox, will be between Game 1 last night. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. I see you all loading up on the text line, so maybe we'll hit a couple of those. And we've got Caroline's, where we'll pick game number 2 tonight, and we'll do that next. Bowl and Branch, that's right. Few guys value anything more than just a perfect sleep. And if you're going to do that, you need to have great sheets. That's why I love my Boll & Branch sheets. They are so light and so comfortable, and I just absolutely love them. And if you go to bollandbranch.com, you will too. If you dream at night of a comfortable sheet at a price that will not keep you up, look no further than Boll & Branch. And I absolutely love the fact that they're so soft and so comfortable, and they are very sustainable. Comfort, sustainability, quality, and all at a fair price. They've got their signature hem sheets from Boll & Branch, which are a bestseller for a reason. And Boll & Branch's signature sheets come in 7 beautiful colors and in all sizes from twins to California King. Get 20% off your first set of sheets when you use the promo code JARED, J-A-R-E-D, at checkout. That's bollandbranch.com, B-O-L-L-A-N-D branch.com, promo code JARED.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobis. Going into tonight, clouds will thicken the first half, and then rain moves into the forecast the second half of tonight. Scattered showers continue throughout tomorrow with high temperatures in the middle 60s. Maybe a clap or two of thunder, but no severe weather.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee, serving golfers since 1968.
Hey Nashville, we think you deserve the very best driving experience, and now is the time for our Season of Change CPO event at Mercedes-Benz of Music City. When you purchase a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz, you're backed by the remaining new vehicle limited warranty. Once that expires, the certified pre-owned limited warranty goes into effect, providing an additional 12 months of coverage with unlimited miles. See all the perks and exceptional offers for your certified pre-owned vehicle from Mercedes-Benz of Music City, mbofmc.com.
Genesis Diamonds is gearing up for their biggest and last sale, November 5th, 6th, and 7th. It's an extra special event with savings of 20, 25, even up to 35%. Store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, nothing's held back for this once-a-year, 3-day extravaganza. Acclaimed designers will be flying in with expanded collections and exceptional pricing. Plus, get 0% interest financing. A final store-wide sale of the year with discounts up to 35%. Get first pick on top gifts for the holidays, November 5th through 7th only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
When Genesis Diamonds has a sale, you know it's the real deal. And it's happening November 5th, 6th, and 7th. Our final store-wide sale of the year with deep discounts up to 35% off. This is the big one. The one where the staff knows they can break all the rules. Plus, the selection is nearly doubled with designers flying in their entire collections, all of it on sale. This is the last and best jewelry buying opportunity of the year. Save up to 35%, zero interest financing. November 5th, 6th, and 7th only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
Hey Nashville, get ready to party Smashville style. On February 26th, the Nashville Predators will make history with the first ever outdoor NHL game in Tennessee as they host the 2022 Navy Federal Credit Union NHL Stadium Series. The Preds will take on the back-to-back Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning in front of 70,000 rockin' fans. Visit NHL.com/Stadium Series tickets.
Darren McFarland.
That should get you in the mood for a game tonight.
Willie Donick.
I think between 5.5 and 6 is probably in the ballpark.
Chase McCabe.
Typically, I like to take the most difficult task and do it first.
Darren, Donick, and Chase have you covered weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Curacion CBD on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This is Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
Yesterday, I picked the Braves to beat the Astros because I felt Charlie Morton was a big game pitcher. There is a stat that is worrying me about tonight's game for the Braves. Can I tell it to you?
Sure thing.
So, I'm a big believer in, like, the clutch gene, and I'm a big believer in, like, some dudes got it and some dudes don't. Like, when it comes to a big game, a big spot, a big moment.
Shower-uppers.
I feel like Tom Brady has 7 Super Bowls because he's got it. Peyton Manning, who has had great stats, great career, great quarterback, great in his prime where he carried the team, won 1 Super Bowl, and it was when he beat Rex Grossman and the Chicago Bears. Like, Peyton might have it, but he doesn't have it like Brady had it. And now Brady's legendary. Jordan, ball in his hands at the end of the game, it. I'm not sure LeBron has it. Kyrie
He's
hits
had
the big
incredible
shot.
amounts of success.
But he's not, like where it's like, I want the ball in your hands in the biggest spot. I'm not sure. So everybody today, the Midday Show had Tom Glavine on, and I joked with Chase, and I was like, you should ask him why John Smoltz, had the stones that he didn't have in big games, like Max Fried, the Braves starter, I feel like doesn't really have either. And we were joking around, like obviously he wasn't going to ask Glavine that question, but Tom Glavine, Greg Maddux, Hall of Fame pitchers, great regular season pitchers, and had some good postseason starts. But were very underwhelming in the playoffs. Steve Avery, who most people don't even know of, was the 91 NLCS MVP. Steve Avery and John Smoltz, great playoff pitchers. So in the playoffs, Glavine 14-16 with a 3.30 ERA. Maddux 11-14 with a 3.27 ERA. Not bad, but not good. John Smoltz 15-4 with a 2.67. Steve Avery 5-3 with a 2.90 ERA. Steve Avery's a better playoff pitcher than Tom Glavine and Greg Maddux. But because I think some guys got it, some guys don't. Max Fried is the best pitcher on the Braves and has been the best pitcher for the last 2 years. He's 1-3 with a 3.86 in the playoffs. Ian Anderson, who pitched the clincher in Game 6 against the Dodgers and was given the ball in Game 7, and I thought pitched pretty well last year, 3-0 with a 1.47. Some guys got it, some guys don't. So if the Braves win tonight, they'll be up 2-0, giving it to Ian Anderson and his 3-0 record with a 1.47 in the playoffs.
Going back to Atlanta. If the Braves lose, I'm nervous that they will lose because Max Fried is not a great playoff pitcher. His numbers are more like Maddux and Glavine's and not like Avery and Smoltz's. Time now for Carolines.
Get in on the action. Put the money on the mahogany. What's on tap on the sports books? It's time to break it all down with Carolines. Here on Stillman and Company.
On ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Carolines is brought to you by BetUS, America's favorite sports book for over 25 years. You can sign up at BetUS.com, mention promo code GAME, and get a sign-up bonus on your first deposit. I hear you. I'm still taking the Braves. I'm taking the Braves on the money line, minus 105, because of Max Fried. I love a lefty. I always give the advantage to the lefty. Max Fried is 14-7, and also a lefty, with a 3.04 ERA in the regular season. So this is actually the first time in his 5-year career that he will face off against the Astros. Fun little fact. He's coming off of one of his worst outings this year. He gave up 5 runs on 8 hits and 2 walks in just over 4 innings of work against the Dodgers in Game 5 of the NLCS and a bad 11-2 Braves loss. And I think that Max So I'm going to bring it tonight, and I think that the Braves get it done.
Last night when Charlie Morton had the bases loaded in the first inning, I wasn't panicking because I felt like Charlie Morton had it. Big game pitcher, Game 7 of the World Series in his career. Max Fried last year got the ball in Game 6 against the Dodgers for a chance to shut him out. Gave up 3 runs in the first inning. They lost the game 3-2. And those are the kind of things that when you've got it, you go out there and you shove. Pedro Martinez, Kurt Schilling, Andy Pettit, like those guys go out and shove. I'm taking the Astros because I don't believe in Fried. And I thought his start the other night against the Dodgers, closeout game similar to last year, couldn't do it. Now he was great down 1-0 against the Brewers in Game 2. So he's a good pitcher. I hope to be wrong tonight, but I think he tenses up out there. I think there's something about it. And unlike Glavine and Maddux, who are kind of finesse guys with great control, Fried is a power pitcher. He's got a good fastball and a great curveball, but for some reason, he just doesn't have the ice water in the veins like Ian Anderson, who's going in Game 3, I feel like has. When at this point in their careers, Anderson's going to be a great player. Yeah. At this point in their careers, I think that Fried's the better pitcher. Tell us about BetUS.
Carolines is brought to you by BetUS, America's favorite sports book for over 25 years. You can sign up at BetUS.com. Use promo code GAME for a sign-up bonus on your first deposit.
That's going to do it for us. Everybody enjoy Game 2 of the World Series tonight. Meanwhile, Smashville Live, Alexander Carrier and Dante Fabro with Robbie Stanley and Chris Mason. That is coming up next. We are back tomorrow. We will see you at 2 o'clock.